organizer and the ruling party over there.
But if it has been in chaos, then you can But if it's been in chaos, does that mean
what allegations have been made against the
if
Prime
it's been
Minister
in
of
chaos
India,
according to you,
founders
does that
over
mean
there,
that you should
founders
add to
over
the
there,
chaos?
the founders over there,
No,
the founders
if it
over
has
there,
been in
the
chaos
founders
according to
over there
you,
are
Abbas
constantly
Hafiz, does that mean you
raising
add to the
issues. They are
chaos? You
putting
try and disrupt
allegations
it as
because
well?
of the
Instead
Prime
of
Minister
offering
is for
solutions,
movement
does
or
that
such
mean you
thing.
go to the
They're going to
venue
be
and try and disrupt it completely? If you
is
believe
there
there
what
is
that
chaos, then shouldn't you
allegation
be
that
helping
wait,
end the chaos, or should you be trying to add to the
don't feel
chaos?
humiliated over that the whole episode, but you feel humiliated by the youth Congress protest, which has been done for the farmers, for the people who are the main subjects of this nation. But still, nobody is ready among you to question this government.
Professor
The whole
Nalapat, come in here. Professor
question
Nalapat,
the
come in here.
government.
Should
You
there
can
be
question, you
certain
can question, you
events
can
and
question.
forums? Should there be
You can,
certain events and forums
what
which
forums are
should be
left?
supported,
What forums are left? What forums are
in a
left? What other
bipartisan
forums
manner?
are left?
Is
What
this
other
kind
forums
of
which are left?
protest which
I want to
happens in
know
the
what
midst of the AI
which all
summit
forums
legitimate
are
according
left
to
now.
you, where the
I want,
individuals,
if you
of
want
course,
to,
took off their shirts, took off
here,
their
if you want to have a
clothes,
monologue over here,
and
you can go
shouted
ahead.
slogans
You
in the
can go
middle of
ahead and
Bharat
mute
Mandapa?
my
Professor Nalapat, is this appropriate according to you?
if you want to prove your brownie
Abbas Hafiz,
points,
I'll
if you
come
want
back to
to
you.
prove your
Abbas
brownie
Hafiz, I'll
points,
come back to
if
you.
you want to
Let's allow
prove
everyone.
yourself,
Let's
and if
allow the others to say.
if you
Let's
are
allow the others
adamant
to
to
say.
prove
Professor
the
Nalapat, please go ahead.
opposition wrong over here and you want to school me, then I can't help you out. What I'm saying,
Professor
just,
Nalapat, Abbas
there are
Hafiz, we've heard
serious
you out.
questions
We've
which
heard you
are
out
being
now,
raised
please. We've
by
heard
the
you out.
people
We
who
need
are
to get in the others as well. Please mute
sitting over
Abbas
there.
Hafiz. Please mute
The
Abbas Hafiz.
founders
I normally
are
don't like
forced
to mute
to
my
draw
panelists, but he's carrying on and not letting the others speak. Professor Nalapat, go ahead.
This has been discussed. This is ongoing.
Professor Madhav Nalapat, did you hear my question?
No, it wasn't a question. Rather, you were schooling me.
No, Abbas Hafiz, I'm not asking you that question. Your time is over. Your time is over. I need to get in the others as well. Professor Nalapat, please come in here. Professor Nalapat, please come in here. Is this a legitimate form of protest according to you? And shouldn't certain venues be off limits for political protest? Should certain events be supported in a bipartisan manner? Professor Nalapat. Abbas Hafiz, your name is not Madhav Nalapat, I think. Professor Nalapat.
Yeah, quite frankly, I'd like to say that at least it shows one thing, that is that democracy is alive and well in India. There's no question about that. And as for this shirtless demonstration, I would bet, very safely, that none of the people who were shirtless on that occasion, poor chaps, they must have got a cold by now. None of them would have been ordinarily shirtless. In fact, they would have been wearing very stylish shirts, and they would have, except for this so-called protest. But I just want to point out that this is one of the major AI summits in the world, and India is hosting it. And except for, Bill Gates, who because of the Epstein connection was not able to speak, and I think Mr. Huang, he also could not speak. The rest of the show went on quite well, like clockwork. And AI is a very important thing for India. You remember in the past, people were opposed to color television. But then Finance Minister Pranab Mukherjee said, no, we should not have color in India. Then they were opposed to computers. And, look what a blessing computers have become all over the country. And now they're getting agitated about artificial intelligence. I can predict very safely AI is going to be, you will have to change your job. You'll have to do a certain amount of changes in the way you function. But otherwise, I'm sure we people in India are quite capable of adjusting to that. We adjusted to the computer revolution, we adjusted to the internet revolution, and we'll adjust to the AI revolution as well. And that is why all the great giants of AI, whether it's Sam Altman or other people, they're all here at the summit because they know India is the future and young Indians are the future. And that future is bright. AI is going to become what computers have been, what the internet has been. It will be a vehicle for change, for transformative change, and definitely a vehicle for improving of economic lives and a vehicle for ensuring economic progress.
Okay. But what kind of AI, leads to individuals who want to protest, take off their clothes, Himanshu Bhatt? What kind of AI was the Youth Congress trying to perform or trying to show to the international world and community?
Yes, they were trying to show something very different. You know, that on the hindsight, if I tell you, looking at their history of last 15 years, if such an incident would not have happened, would have surprised me. I'm sorry to state that the youth, Gen Z, they call themselves Gen Z. They are a part of it. You know, this exhibition of brainlessness, when something about India or Bharat or Hindustan, whatever they want to call it, is taking place, and going and doing that is the same thing what the leader did 4 years ago. In UK, in London, he spoke in front of the entire Europe that please come and save our democracy. Yes, they did come. What has happened after that? In 3 years' time, EU has a trade deal with Bharat. That is what the result is. So they should have understood that. But then what happens is, you know, when you want to say some British queen in front of a lot of British people that India is a nation of snake charmers, and you come from that family patronage, this is what happens. So I'm not a bit surprised. You know, Samit Patra was talking about something. He said topless, brainless, shameless. Why you want all this less, yaar? Why you want all this less? Let this 4 or 40 of them come in front of the world television and show people that this is what an Indian democracy is. And despite being shameless and brainless and topless and mindless, these people have a right to protest. Despite not knowing where to protest. When you don't know which are the no-go zones, then this is what happens. And if a political party's culture is here, and this type of a culture they maintain, that shows that they are in the extreme frustrated mind, and they are going to lose everything what they have. I said 5 years ago that at this rate, Congress in a single state will not get more than 10 to 12% of the vote share of the total vote poll. And it's proving correct in 2 years' time. Just forget 2024. And after that, look at the elections, what's happening. And despite all this, you know, these people who were caught. See, the best part is, Uday, see, in Bharat Mandapam, they had registered. They had their barcode.
Yes.
So they were legal, they went in. And after that, they created this.
Absolutely. Abbas Hafiz, you've heard out. Abbas Hafiz, you've heard out what the neutral guests on the broadcast have to say. You know, these are senior journalists, these are observers of political events and international events, and you know, you're hearing what they have to say on your youth congress's behavior. So do you believe that this protest in hindsight then should have been avoided? Will your party apologize for what has happened? Do you believe it shouldn't have happened?
Don't you think this government should apologize for this mismanagement of the whole event, where the participants are constantly raising their own issues, who have paid for the stalls, denied entry because of the Prime Minister's protocol, the founders who are participating made to walk for 3 or 4 kilometers. They are raising their concerns, they are raising their complaints across the globe. You have no concern about that, but you are concerned.
No, we'll take that to Mukesh Tyagi of the BJP in just a second, what you are saying. But what about your youth congress protest? You don't want to, say anything on that? You don't believe that was wrong?
I've already said.
No, you don't believe it was wrong?
I've already said, see,
could the manner have been better in your opinion?
Country.
In hindsight, could it have been handled better?
If you constantly want to interrupt, go on.
I'm asking you in hindsight, could it have been better? Could it have been done better? In hindsight, could it have been done better?
I'm not ready to listen to any of my answer. I don't want to speak then. You go on. You go ahead.
No, in hindsight, could it have been better?
That's the problem. You people are not showing what the problems are. So we are forced to do our protest where people can see. You are not ready to listen to
Okay,
us.
so it was
The plight of Indian farmers are not your concern.
it was a
That's the problem.
publicity stunt, is what you're saying.
This government,
It
see,
was a
you can't
publicity stunt, is
put
what
your
you're saying. You
words
had
in
to do something to
my
get
mouth.
attention. You had to do something to
You
get
need to
attention, which is why
understand
you've
you are
done
an
this.
actor, you are a journalist, you need to question. You have no right to school me. You need to.
I will go to Mukesh Tyagi on the issues.
You need to
On the issues
understand
that
what
you've
I'm
raised, I
saying,
will go to
please.
Mukesh Tyagi, Abbas Hafiz. But what I'm
You go
asking
to
you
Mukesh
is
Tyagi, if
that
you don't want to listen to my
what I'm
point,
asking you is, do you believe in hindsight it could have been handled better?
What I'm
It
saying,
could have been
you're
handled
not
better.
ready to listen to me. You are not giving any space to the opposition. The government is not ready to give any permission.
Mr. Hafiz, we
for
came to you
protest.
first.
The government
हम
is
तो आपके
turning
पास
blind
पहले आए
eye.
हैं.
Prime Minister is compromised.
We came
but
to you
are not
first.
ready to listen to this.
We
You
came
have
to
no
you
guts
first
to
on the
say-
discussion, and you are saying opposition has no space. Anyways, I'll come back to you. Mukesh Tyagi of the BJP, come in here. Mukesh Tyagi of the BJP, you've heard him out. He believes that nothing wrong happened. They had to do this to bring attention to what they believe was wrong at the AI summit. How do you view the Youth Congress's protests and the Congress Party's defense of it?
Uday, at the outset, I would request Congress spokesperson not to intervene while I'm talking. You see, it's a last nail in the coffin of Congress. And कहते हैं विपरीत बुद्धि विनाश काले. I think this protest has literally stripped Congress of its true culture. Thank God, Uday, they are not stripping in your show as a protest. No, if stripping is the only means of protesting and raising the national issues, I think it's an absolute intellectual bankruptcy on part of the Congress. Number one, I want to say one thing. Rahul Gandhi goes to different parts of the world and says the Indian democracy is in danger. Come and intervene. Here, they are protesting, stripping their shirt in such a high sensitive artificial intelligence conference in front of such a huge conglomeration of tech heads, heads of states. I mean, we are part of this Pax Silica where India is marching ahead to become the developed country by 2047. That's the vision of Prime Minister Modi. He may not be Prime Minister. And on the contrary, they're suffering from this, dragging Prime Minister back, regressive policies. So you are getting full chance to blow out all your ventilated issues. And then you go and complain that we don't have a democracy. I mean, this is the classic catch-22 situation for Rahul Gandhi. He's protesting. He's sending people surreptitiously.
Okay. No, but what
clandestinely.
he's saying basically is that they had to do this because you are not listening to them. They had to do
We
this
are
because they want to raise what is wrong with the AI summit, and they had no choice.
Uday, you pick up the record of all the parliamentary debates where they had the fairly good amount of place to speak out. They come out with some frivolous issues. Rafale, they fell down. They did not prove one point which can go against the government. Not even a single scam has been proved. But look at the monsoon session. They washed out completely on General Narvane's book. What has happened? General Narvane's disowned Rahul Gandhi. He's made some frivolous allegations. Both Priyanka and Rahul Gandhi have been blackened on their face by General Narvane. He was not talking initially. He brought out some unpublished book and trying to raise and wash out the monsoon. So he gets an opportunity to speak. But you will only be able to speak when you open the legitimate issues in the parliament. You cannot be regressive. You cannot be behaving like a balkanizing
Abbas
element.
Hafiz, your
So
response.
this culture is so dangerous. As a
Okay,
matter of fact, he
Abbas
has no
Hafiz, your
business
response.
to remain leader of opposition.
See, if we talk about the scams being done by this government, and one can't prove or one can prove, the agencies needs to prove, and everyone knows the conditions right now. So I don't want to comment on it, but the whole issue is what I'm saying constantly. This government has failed an event and then putting the whole issue on the Youth Congress workers because the issues are being raised by the constantly being raised by the participants who are filing the complaints, who are saying what shouldn't be said in the public domain. Nobody is ready to discuss this, and he hasn't answered it. Rather, what my questions were that the whole issue has been a chaotic issue. The
Mukesh.
whole event has been a chaotic issue,
Mukesh.
and
Arey,
it has been in chaos.
Uday,
The whole point is, but let me complete.
No,
guys.
no.
Let me complete.
No, no,
10 seconds, let me complete. The whole point is,
you are treading on a very dangerous path.
Why don't you answer the whole protest question?
You are
The whole
legitimizing
issue
criminal
is
action.
about
You
the
are
farmer,
legitimizing
the Indian
criminal
farmer.
action by your
Why have
Congress
you made the
hooligans.
Indian farmers
Congress
compromise?
hooligans. You are legitimizing their most irresponsible
That's the
conduct.
trade
They
deal.
have no business to behave like this, strip themselves. They could have stripped their trousers also. You can
You
also
are
do it
stripping the
tomorrow.
Indian farmers.
It's my
You are
peaceful
stripping the
protest.
Indian farmers. You have
You are,
already stripped the
you
Indian
are,
farmers with this trade
you
deal.
are, I
Why
think
were
Rahul
you
Gandhi,
forced to do this trade
Arey,
deal, which
do,
is
there are
which is the biggest problem of the Indian farmers?
you have been talking from
Won't
the
reply.
rooftop
You won't
about
respond
all
to
these
that.
issues
You
for a
are
long
more
time.
concerned
People
about
don't buy
youth
your
Congress
argument.
stripping,
You
but
lose elections consecutively.
farmers stripping.
You have lost legitimacy. People are rejecting you left, right, center, and that's the reason your
Will you
frustration
answer
reaches to a
about the
different
trade
level.
deal?
You
Will you
you
answer
are
about the whole
written off
trade
in a
deal?
democracy.
Will you
You
give
are
any
written off in a
answer about the
democracy.
plight of Indian
You are a
farmers?
spent force in the
Why are
Indian
they
democracy.
why are they
You have
being
lost out
why
credibility.
are they
Rahul
being
Gandhi, I
compromised
think
in
if
the
you do
private
the credibility index,
why
Rahul Gandhi will have the lowest credibility index. He
you
makes
won't reply to the
irresponsible
allegation.
statement and
That's
he is
the whole
misleading
point.
the country.
Okay.
He is
Okay.
misleading the
Whole point. You won't reply
youth.
to the allegation.
Look at the youth. Moral.
The allegation should be
I mean, he's
honored,
hijacking.
but you will be talking about the stripping.
He's hijacking such a big international
Professor
event. He's
Nalapat,
hijacking.
Professor Nalapat,
And
Professor
what nonsense
Nalapat.
is going on with the Congress? Are
Professor
they out of their
Nalapat.
mind or they've gone insane?
Should
What about the stripping of Indian farmers by
Professor
your own
Nalapat,
government?
should there be
They have done this trade deal with the US where
Professor
the Indian
Nalapat,
farmers are going
you
to
know,
What is wrong with the
should
what,
there
what is
be
wrong with the India US dream? Tell me one
why
thing, what
why
is wrong
don't
with
we?
that?
Okay, I'll come back to you both. I'll come back to you both, Mukesh and Abbas. I'll come back to you both.
No, I want to discuss what
Let's
is wrong
allow
with
the
the
others to
India
come
US
back
deal.
in. Why don't we see, Madhav Nalapat, in our country bipartisan support for certain issues and events? We hosted the G20. It was a mega success. Now we're hosting the AI summit. Should certain issues be off politics? Should certain issues get bipartisan support in parliament and outside? Or is that too much to ask for?
Yeah, Uday, I want to make a point. I have been scanning the international newspaper and other media outlet headlines, and these days podcasts are important. The world of this social media is important, and I've been trying to scan through that. And frankly, hardly anyone is talking about the shirtless demonstration that we saw. They're all talking about the fact that the global giants of AI are now meeting in India, and now India has become, in a sense, an important AI center in the whole world. I'm very certain in the times to come there are going to be a lot of AI development centers located in India, and many hundreds of thousands of young people are going to be trained and are going to find jobs all over the world. I don't think we should confine ourselves only to our own country, all over the world. So that is what the headlines have been saying, that India has arrived in the world of AI. And whether it is Sam Altman, whether it is other people, all the giants of AI are here. They would not come to waste their time unless they saw India is important, the Indian people is important, and that is what they feel. And therefore, I feel proud as an Indian to witness this giant AI summit.
Abbas,
I'm very proud, and I feel very optimistic about the future of my country, because I know that the young people of this country will take this country forward no matter what the problem, what the obstacle. And I do wish political parties would focus on solving issues rather than just saying, oh, this is bad, this is bad.
Yes.
Right,
no, you absolutely. Abbas, I mean, you are raising the issues on the show today. Your spokesperson are raising it in their press conference as well. Your leaders have been putting out tweets. Those are all ways, genuine ways to raise issues. But by doing it in the manner that you did today, or your youth congress did today, was this a publicity stunt? Will you admit that? Was this a publicity stunt? Is that why it happened?
Why would I admit something which is not there, which is not true? What youth congress workers have done, they have already clarified on the whole issue. The BJP government is stripping the farmers by doing this trade deal, where there will be cheaper products from the US and their farmers and all such things. I don't want to go in detail for the whole issue.
You don't have a sense of economics, by the way. You don't have sense of economics.
You should answer about the
no. We can have one-to-one discussion.
You should answer.
I'm answering you. I'm answering you. I'm answering now in
If
one
you would have
line.
answered it properly, the youth Congress workers wouldn't have gone there.
I'm answering you in one line. I'm
Just
answering in one line. What is the
register their
cost?
protest.
What is
The
the
whole
cost
issue
of one
is
mineral
the
bottle
whole
in
issue
India?
is you are
And
compromised. I don't know.
you
We
have
don't
no
know
idea
why.
about the cost
The whole issue
differential.
is you are forced to do the
Do you
trade
have any
deal.
idea about the cost
This is the whole
differential
issue. This
between
is the whole
US and
issue. This
India?
is the whole issue. You
You
can
have no
explain
idea.
anything.
You have to
You
just
people are the
criticize.
same people who have told the Indian
Your only mission in life is to
demonetization. So you don't
you
have any right
demoralize
to
armed
say
forces.
anything about the
You are
economy.
demoralizing armed forces. You are demoralizing armed forces all the time. Is it
to
a
a
good
length
thing?
which no one can even
Sindoor
expect it, and
operation,
then you have
want
said no, it
evidence.
has been a
I mean,
mistake.
whole world is
You have
talking for India.
praised GST's initial slabs, and then you have taken a U-turn.
Okay. Yeah, these are.
Please don't try to
Himanshu
The
Bhatt.
whole point is what
Yeah,
I
can I
want
come in?
to
Can I
tell
come in
Himanshu
now?
Bhatt, the issues.
Who is asking
Himanshu
about
Bhatt, the
protest?
issues
I don't want to say
on
what
General
the whole issue
Narwane's
so much,
book.
you know.
Himanshu Bhatt, the issues on General Narwane's book and the US trade deal that the Congress
Yes,
party is
US
now
trade deal,
repeatedly,
let me tell you something.
they are now repeatedly raising it. They raised it inside Parliament and they want to now raise it outside as well. They believe that these are important issues. What kind of traction do you believe the Congress will get based on these issues in the upcoming elections in Assam, West Bengal, Puducherry, Tamil Nadu?
Yeah, they are important issues. I don't say no. US trade deal. What is US trade deal? Very clearly it has been said that the framework is set up. The deal is not finalized as yet. Let's be very, very clear about it. Congress has been talking, our farmers are going to suffer. What are we talking about? It's just a framework we are talking about.
Yes.
And in that, how can a farmer suffer? You want to mislead? Fine, you can do it once. Probably in 2024 in certain parts of the country, they were able to do it. But that does not mean that you will be able to fool the farmers again. Why is it that Farmer 3.0 is not coming up? I have a simple question as a simple citizen of this country.
Okay.
When we are talking in terms of, AI summit, I want people to understand one thing. It was the same Sam Altman who in 2023 said that India cannot do it.
Okay. Okay. I'm out of time. 30 seconds. 30 seconds,
And
Himanshu
the
Bhatt.
same
30 seconds,
Altman
Mukesh Tyagi.
said what he said yesterday.
No, Himanshu, that's an important point you've raised. As you're saying, these were skeptics, but now India has proven them all wrong through hosting this summit, of course, successfully, and we hope that there will be mega deals that come off it as well. Mukesh Tyagi, 30 seconds to you.
You see, $15 billion investment. We are going to be leader in the semiconductor. Look at the conference, the magnitude and the scale of this conference. What Congress is doing, playing such a destructive and dangerous politics to ruin the image of the country in front of such a huge delegation. I think they are urban nexus. They're worse than any terrorist organization right now working against India.
Yes.
If I may just have a last word.
Yes, Professor Nalapat. Okay, I think we've lost Abbas Hafiz there. Yes, Professor Nalapat, the last word to you.
Yeah, I just want to say that the fact of the matter, whether it's the internet, whether it's AI, frankly, wise governments do not try to control it. They try and facilitate it. I hope that is what is happening in this country with this gigantic AI exhibition, because the internet or artificial intelligence, you cannot control it.
Okay.
You can only, facilitate so that it goes in a manner which is best serving the interests of the country.
Absolutely.
And I'm optimistic that is going to take place in India.
Absolutely.
Under Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
All right, let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us. We've run out of time. Let's dip into a short break.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने, सब कुछ मजेदार बने। MDH
कसूरी मेथी लाजवाब है।
स्वाद और सुगंध इसकी
लाजवाब है।
अगर MDH कसूरी मेथी नहीं डाला
तो खाली हाथ मलते रह जाओगे।
एक एक पत्ता हाथ से चुना, स्वाद और सुगंध जगाए कई गुना।
MDH
कार इंश्योरेंस डन।
पॉलिसी बाजार से कराया?
नहीं। तो तू ज़ेब्रा नहीं हो सकता। कार नई हो या पुरानी, पॉलिसी बाजार पे कंपेयर करके खरीदो और 30,000 तक बचाओ। इसलिए तू ज़ेब्रा तो नहीं है, तू है गधा। काइंड ऑफ।
लाल रंग इसका अपार,
तीखा कम है फिर भी स्वाद।
बेमिसाल बेमिसाल MDH कश्मीरी,
MDH कश्मीरी।
MDH।
अगर आप बनना चाहते हैं एंकर या फिर आप में है जुनून एक तेज तर्रार न्यूज रिपोर्टर बनने का, तो आप ज्वाइन करें ITV और इंडिया NewsX का मीडिया स्कूल। ITV नेक्स्ट मीडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल का कोर्स आपको मौका देता है देश के दिग्गज एंकर्स के साथ काम करने का। ITV नेक्स्ट मीडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल में आप बेहद नजदीकी से देख पाएंगे किस तरह से ITV नेटवर्क के दिग्गज पत्रकारों की टीम दिन रात खबरों पर काम करती है। इस कोर्स के दौरान आप सीखेंगे एंकरिंग की एक एक बारीकी उन एंकर्स के साथ जो देश को रखते हैं हर खबर से बाखबर। ITV नेक्स्ट मीडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल का ये कोर्स आपके एंकरिंग स्किल्स को करेगा इतना सशक्त मजबूत, जिससे आप बनेंगे पत्रकारिता की दुनिया का वो चमकता चेहरा जो दुनिया देखेगी और पसंद करेगी।
Well, NewsX is on ground zero and we are covering the AI Impact Summit 2026. What a jam-packed session it is, and what a day to be in India, what a day to be in New Delhi. So many sessions, such many world leaders here. You talk about Emmanuel Macron, Rishi Sunak, Mark Zuckerberg, David Lammy. All these big dignitaries, world leaders are a part of this very summit. And now we have something which is called the very AI-defined autonomous device simulator. It is an autonomous drive. Someone would here responsible will show us around. If you can just show us what we have in store. This is how you operate. You start it. You need a biometric. There's an AI assistant who would be listening. So just can we start showing around to our viewers who are watching us on television? We'll be going for a drive is what we are doing, a simulator itself.
It's great to see you again.
So you see, this is the AI.
Hello.
This is called the Autonomo, and this is the conversation happening. And again, as the driver stated, the fact that to start the drive and also the one who is showing us. So this is how it looks.
Starting journey
and
from airport
this
to
is
Mandapam.
extreme. This is entirely autonomous, is what we are showing you. You can see the drive is on, and we are going, and this is completely autonomous. This is happening. Is how we are going.
Toll gate.
So again, this is the toll gate that has opened. I'll request my camera person Setu also to show the screen.
Resuming
this is
the journey,
and it is telling everything whatever is happening on the distance. If there's a toll booth, it's telling us that. If there's resume
detected by radar.
So again, you can see the radar. There's emergency braking that is there. The cameras are there, and everything is being as per a voice assistant. This is entirely autonomous. We are showing you experience autonomous driving, and this is what we are trying to show from our end. The travel is going on. You can see the airport also that is there.
Merging into highway and switching to middle
an
lane.
amazing experience it is. You can see the highway that we are in, and as this is
Please
happening,
give valid slow moving vehicle detected. Do you want to do the lane change?
yes. So as the lane is also changing, it's happening.
Overtaking and moving to
So
high
everything
speed
is
lane.
being shown from our camera on our end. So clearly this
Emergency
is
vehicle is oncoming,
our,
switching the lane and coordinating
this is
the
our
information
effort to
to the
show
traffic ahead.
everything
via
that is happening.
NewsX.
So clearly we are showing the entire process here from our television screens. So everyone who is watching us on television also, this is your, this is your experience also. If you're watching from your television screens, we also request to come out to experience this, because this is something which is India's flagship. The Prime Minister has been vocaling about how inclusive AI, sovereign AI takes place. The Prime Minister gave an interview also 2 days back speaking about how AI is becoming a vision itself, and how AI is redefining jobs jobs, restructuring and recalibrating jobs. This is me, Brian Andy Thomas, signing off, camera person C2 for NewsX.
भारत में चल रहे एआई इम्पैक्ट समिट की चर्चा पूरे विश्व में है। एक स्टॉल से लेकर दूसरे स्टॉल से एक से बढ़कर एक इंडिजियस यानी कि स्वदेशी रोबोट जो है वो देखने को मिल रहे हैं। और अब हम आपको मिलवाएंगे ऑटोनॉमस मोबाइल रोबोट से, जिसको चलाने के लिए ना ही किसी रिमोट की जरूरत है और ना ही किसी ऑपरेशन की जरूरत है, क्योंकि वो खुद से ही यहाँ पर ये आपको दिखा रहे हैं ऑटोनॉमस मोबाइल रोबोट जो खुद से चलता है और कोई भी बैरियर आने पर खुद से रुक जाता है। तो देखिए यहाँ पर लोग खड़े थे तो वो रुक गया था और देखिए अब अपने आप उसका चलना जो है वो शुरू हो गया है। और किस तरीके से आपको हम ये भी जानकारी देंगे आखिर कैसे ये इंडस्ट्रीज में, वेयर हाउसेस में जो भारी सामान है वो ढोने का काम करता है। इसमें यहाँ पर आप देख रहे हैं यहाँ पर सामान जो है वो रख दिया, बांध दिया जाता है और उसको ये और जो रोबोट है वो खींचता हुआ ले जाता है। आप देख सकते हैं पावर्ड बाय इंफोसिस की तरफ से ये रोबोट जो है वो तैयार किया गया। और हमारे साथ बात करने के लिए पद्मा जी मौजूद है जो कि और ज्यादा जानकारी देंगी आखिर किन कंडीशंस में ये काम करता है। और देखिए अपने आप ये फंक्शनल कर रहा है, कोई रिमोट नहीं है, कोई से चला नहीं रहा है। पद्मा जी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, मैंने ठीक कहा एकदम?
एब्सोल्युटली। देखिए जब हम टेक्नोलॉजी की बात करते हैं तो मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम हम जब सोचते हैं उसके बारे में तो इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन जो है वो सबसे बड़ा हमारा एक स्पेस हो जाता है जहाँ पे हम टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज़ करते हैं। स्पेशली हैवी ड्यूटी वेयर हाउसेज, डार्क वेयर हाउसेज, वो सब में अगर आप देखेंगे तो वहाँ पे देयर इज़ अ लॉट ऑफ ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन और इसमें जो लोड्स होती हैं तो लोड्स भी बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाते हैं तो देयर इज़ अ वेरी हाई चांस ऑफ इंजरी। तो जब हम इंजरी की बात करते हैं, जब हम लोड्स की बात करते हैं और एफिशिएंसी की बात करते हैं वहाँ पे हमें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंटली ह्यूमन प्लस एआई की जो हमारी नैरेटिव है वो इसमें दिखाई देती है। तो द ऑटोनॉमस मोबाइल रोबोट इज़ वन सच सोल्यूशन जहाँ पे आप देखेंगे कि ये ऑटोमेटिकली, जैसे आपने कहा, वो लोड्स को पिकअप करता है, आइडेंटिफाई करता है और इस प्रकार से जब इसको मूव करना पड़ता है, वेदर इट इज़ इन एयरपोर्ट्स या फिर आप वेयर हाउसेज में देखेंगी या फिर लार्ज स्केल इंडस्ट्रियल सोल्यूशंस में, तो क्या हो जाता है कि ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन जो है ऐसे अनसेफ सिचुएशंस पे कम होके ये वाले जो प्रोडक्ट्स होते हैं दे टेक ऑन अ लॉट ऑफ दैट लोड एज वेल।
में तो छोटा लग रहा है लेकिन कितना वजन ये उठा सकता है?
देखिए छोटा पैकेट है उस पे मत जाइएगा,
धमाका बड़ा करता है।
धमाका बहुत बड़ा करता है। ये एक 1 टन का सोल्यूशन है, हमारे पास एक 5 टन का भी सोल्यूशन है। तो देखिए हमारे डिफरेंट सोल्यूशंस जो होते हैं अभी इंडिया में और भारत में आप देखेंगे तो हमें सोल्यूशंस की जो स्केल है वो नॉट जस्ट एज ए लार्ज स्केल, लेकिन छोटे छोटे एक विलेजेस में या छोटे छोटे शहरों में जैसे उनका वेयर हाउस होता है उसके लिए भी कस्टमाइज करना बहुत ज़रूरी है। तो ये जो आप देख रही हैं ये 1 टन वाला है, हमारे पास एक 5 टन वाला भी सोल्यूशन है जो ऐसे सिचुएशंस के लिए बनाया गया है।
कितनी दूरी तक ये ले जा सकता है, भार उठा के चल सकता है?
देखिए ये सब कॉन्फ़िगरेबल है, तो अगर आपका डिस्टेंस ज़्यादा है, लोड ज़्यादा है तो ये सब चीज़ें इसके लिए बहुत मशहूर हो जाती हैं क्योंकि ये बहुत ही कॉन्फ़िगरेबल है। तो वन साइज नेवर फिट्स ऑल एंड स्पेशली ये वाले जो सोल्यूशंस हैं आर क्रिएटेड so that we understand the specific needs.
बिल्कुल। तो देखिए अगर हम बात करेंगे तो जिस तरीके से बता रहे हैं 1000 केजी से लेके 5000 केजी तक भार ये जो है ढो के चल सकता है और उन कंडीशंस में भी ये काम कर सकता है, जा सकता है जहां पर ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन जो है वो मुश्किल होता है, जहां पर जो लोग हैं, जो इंसान है, कहीं ना कहीं उनको हार्म पहुंच सकता है, वहां पर ये ऑटोनॉमस मोबाइल रोबोट जो है वो ये काम आता है और अपना कमाल और धमाल जो है वो दिखाता है। मैं आरजू सेठ, कैमरा पर्सन दिनेश के साथ, इंडिया न्यूज। So right now joining me at the AI Impact Summit is Major Vineet Kumar, who is also known as the Social Entrepreneur of the Year 2025, and he has been working to create awareness about the responsible social behavior and responsible digital behavior as well. Vineet, thank you so much for talking to NewsX. So as we talk about the responsible digital behavior, why it is important, and of course we know how the demand for technology is increasing. We can see AI all around at the AI Impact Summit. So as the demand increase for AI, the responsibility also responsibility is also demanded. So how would you explain that?
So basically it's all about scaling. You can see India is all about scale. And the way AI, and in fact the Impact Summit, you can witness it, the kind of response that we got for the AI Impact Summit is huge. And it's scaling, it's reaching the grassroots, it's reaching MSMEs, startups, civil society, industry, academia. And this is where one of the key conversations, which all good things, you also have some challenges. So we have to talk about the challenges now. Challenges like the misuse of AI. AI is getting misused now. Apart from AI, it's also the agentic era that is also coming in. Agentic AI. You must have heard about Maltbook and several other things where the agents have started creating their own networks. So in that era, it is important, one, for the platforms to make sure that their platform becomes ethical and safe for everyone, and also for the end users, for them to ethically use the platform so that the platform is not misused in a way to create deepfake, AI-generated misinformation, and those information can be used to create a unrest and chaos among people. Also, what we have seen is, like we talk about a typical scam and fraud networks today, those have moved. Like the traditional Jamtara style fraud that used to happen, now with AI, it has also enabled the cyber criminals now. For them, they're using AI tools to quickly create a content, create APKs, and target end user, vulnerable population. This is where responsibility comes in. This is where the need for safe and trusted AI comes in. And that's why now is the time that we start discussing, now is the time that we prepare and make those guardrails so that AI is trusted, it is safe, and it is used for the benefit of the mankind rather than it creates some kind of harms and kind of creates some kind of issues for the humanity overall.
Also, as well as we see, the government is also promoting AI. We have listened to the Prime Minister. He is saying that, we need to move forward with the technology, and AI is not going to take any job, but it is going to create. We need to understand that, and we need to work with it. So as we talk, how you are working with the government, as I got to know that you also work with METI. So how you are working with the government to create that awareness?
Yes. So first is, there's a lot of myth going around that AI is taking jobs. AI definitely, I mean, in some way, in fact, AI is automating a lot of things. So the traditional jobs are dying, but it is creating new set of jobs. The era has come where we start reskilling people, reskilling at all scales. And that is where all these initiative has to go at the grassroots level. What CyberPeace is trying to do is taking the entire conversation to the grassroots, even to the tribal areas. So where we kind of take the conversation, we tell them about the usage of AI tools for their day-to-day usage and all that. And along with that, we also talk about safety. So the conversation is that we talk to them about awareness, about using the tools, and also integrating safety, security, privacy, what to do when something goes wrong. So cyber resilience is also something that we are teaching them. And through the process, we are also making them aware of the key schemes of the government where they can use AI tools to kind of safely use it and also quickly get action, quickly get responses and all that. Now imagine, like for example, I mean, tomorrow if you had to, I mean, yesterday if you had to make some letters, you need to spend a lot of time, but today it's all automated. You just need to use one prompt, and that's where jobs like prompt engineering is emerging. So we need to reskill people on, say, prompt engineering as one of the areas. And it's basic. I wouldn't say it's too technical. It's just basic, wherein you need to use how to, you need to understand how to use these AI tools. That's basic. You need to not be a coder or a developer or something like that. You just simply need to install the tool, use the right prompts, and get your job done.
Vineet, as you work towards the awareness, you study about the challenges of AI that might come. So what did you think could be one of the biggest challenge by the use of AI that could come in the future?
So the biggest challenge is if we, again, don't have the right conversation on ethical and responsible AI now, and like I earlier mentioned, we don't develop the guardrails, it should not be a future which we see in the sci-fi movies that the machines are controlling humans. It should be always human in the loop, and it should be human which actually controls it in some way. It should not go out of the control. With now agentic AI coming in, this is where we already saw all the tech giants here in the room yesterday. They are here today. There's a lot of keynotes happening here. So this is where they are also seeing that what could be the possible future if they don't control it now, if they don't have the responsible and ethical AI frameworks in place, what could it be in the future? So all these guardrails need to be built. It needs to be implemented. Or it's not something that we talk about it, we develop framework. The framework is also about implementation. Unless we implement it, it will go out of control. So we have to make sure it remains in control, and human is always in the loop. While any such application, any such process is being, so humans should always be in the loop for that.
Thank you so much, Major Vinny. Thank you. So from this conversation, what we got that it should always be a human that control technology, not a technology that, controlling the human. And as well, how important it is, the responsible digital awareness is for the future generation, because the demand of AI increases, and as well as we need to be very responsible while using the AI. I'm Arzu Seth with video journalist Dinesh for NewsX in Delhi.
Well, NewsX is on ground zero and we are covering the India AI Impact Arena 2026. What a day to be in New Delhi, what a day to be in India. Now in these 5 days, India is being positioned itself as the global AI hub. The Prime Minister has been vocal about the fact that inclusive AI, sovereign AI, and how AI and how India is working together to position itself as the global AI hub. In these 5 days, there would be 500 sessions, more than 3,200 speakers. All the world leaders are here. You talk about Emmanuel Macron, you talk about Antonio Guterres, you talk about Rishi Sunak, you talk about other world leaders, Sherin Togbe. All of these world leaders are a part of this Impact Summit. And again, India is ahead in this global AI race. This is also the flagship, and we are at this, this hall here. There have been 22 sectors, 11 such halls, and we will be talking to Kanika Chahal, who is a co-founder of Mavericks Simulation Solutions. Ma'am, welcome to News.
Thank you.
Ma'am, again, what I want you to explain our viewers what this is, what kind of solution you're providing, so that our viewers who are watching you on television can also understand what this solution is all about.
So Maverick Simulation Solutions is the only Indian company which is manufacturing medical simulation in India. And we just displayed 2. Otherwise, we have 40 plus simulators, starting from basic task trainers till high fidelity simulators. So talking about these products, this is Lucy. It's lung simulator, which is for neonatal respiratory care. Any kind of respiratory issues like RDS, pneumonia, any kind of respiratory issue which occurs in neonates during the birth, maybe immediately after the birth, or in a preterm baby. So we can train our doctors, our budding doctors, our practitioners, how to tackle such situations. Different scenarios can be made in this. This is autonomous. This is a realistic neonatal simulator. It reacts as a real baby. So now no more human mistakes can be done on real baby patient. Rather, we encourage that you buy this, you use this product, and do whatever errors, whatever experiments you want to do, whatever you want to learn, do it on this baby.
I have just observed the fact that you can see it breathing also, If I request my camera person Setu to just show the fact that you can actually see some vein movement here, the breathing process is also happening. So you can actually understand that the movement is extremely clear. So you are saying that this is a simulation that could be used as an alternate, and the budding doctors, like you've been saying, can learn and understand it better rather than experimenting on human subject. Rather than this will act as a simulation itself.
Yes. And right now also she's actually breathing the room oxygen. So you can see on the screen also that the FO2 is 21%. So right now we have that much of oxygen available in the room. You can use actual ventilator on this, and you can have actual gases in this. So yeah.
You spoke about this. I would want to ask about what is this ahead? What kind of simulator is this? What is the name of the simulator, if you can make our viewers understand?
Yeah. So the second one is the pediatric patient simulator. Apart from this, we have adult patient simulator also. We have ATLS, BLS simulator also. So in this simulator, this is an entire pediatric baby, which range between 2 years to 8 years. And in this, you can do the drug administration, you can do CPR, you can do defibrillation, intubation, tracheostomy, cannulization. You can in fact feel the palpation, you can palpate it. And it can talk also, it can sweat also. So it is again a realistic pediatric patient in front of.
Ma'am, how important do you think is this at this time, point of time, and also to the fact that we know that this is also the need of the hour, that it is very important at this point of time. What made you think of the fact that we need this solution and this is actually the need of the hour?
See, right now, each and every human being is aware about many things because of the, you can say, internet. They have so much of knowledge that now you can't do any experiments, or you'll not get patients on which you can teach your students that you can do the cannulation, etc., and you can do the surgery, etc. So for every such practices, you have the simulators now.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for speaking to us. So yes, viewers, we spoke to Kanika Chahal, who spoke to us, and also clearly there are so many solutions that you get in these halls, in these booths, and this is such an important step, right? You get to experience this, and I also, I request from our channel also, we urge our viewers to come out, to come experience these booths, these zones, and experience what it has in store and what India has at this prowess, where India is showcasing its AI prowess at the Global Summit. This is me, Brian Anthony Thomas, signing off, camera person Setu for NewsX Delhi. Well, NewsX is on ground zero and we are covering the AI Impact Summit 2026. What a day to be in New Delhi. What a day to be in Delhi. World leaders are here. The Prime Minister has been talking about inclusive AI, sovereign AI, and how India is being positioned itself as a global AI hub. You talk about Emmanuel Macron, you talk about David Lammy, you talk about Rishi Sunak, you talk about Sam Altman. All of these world leaders have been a part of this AI Summit, and we're joined by a very special guest, Dr. Ravi Kumar, who is also the Vice President Engineering Services for Infosys. Sir, welcome to NewsX.
Welcome. Thank you.
So first question, you have your own booth here. You are a part of the AI Impact Summit where world leaders are here, 500 session, more than 3,200 speakers. What does it bring to the table for India in terms of the AI global hub?
India is going to get immensely benefited out of this because there is a huge amount of talent that is out there. And it will be a great opportunity for this talent to learn about AI, understand, and where exactly it can be used.
And so this thing there ahead is what you call an autonomous robot, autonomous mobile robot. This weighs, you said, this can carry up to 1 ton as yes. What exactly is this? If you can tell us, viewers, we can also walk and talk. Sure. So our viewers can also take an understanding of what this is, sir.
Perfect. So this is an autonomous mobile robot. What it does is, it automates the complete logistic operations in a manufacturing shop floor or a warehouse. So if you look at currently, most of the logistics that are there in the manufacturing shop floor, they are manually driven, right? It has a lot of productivity issues and also the safety issues. What we are trying to do here is, by putting some of this autonomous mobile robot in the manufacturing shop floors or warehouses, okay, they can move the material from point A to point B autonomously, interacting with the industrial automation systems, right? So this will help in improving the productivity, improving the efficiency and the safety. You can see here, the moment I stepped in, the vehicle stopped, right?
So automatically you're saying it identifies if there is a hurdle?
Exactly. It identifies the hurdle and stops, okay? So this is very, very safe, and also it doesn't disrupt the existing environment as such. Right? It can do a smooth operations. And
as a camera, how does it identify that when it needs to go? Because in the screen also there are many such points. You can select destination as well.
Okay. There are 3 broad components in this particular machine. One is the sensing component, where you have a lot of these sensors, the lidars and cameras, okay, through which the data is acquired. And the data is fed into an onboard computer, which is a compute. It's an edge device where all these AI algorithms are sitting. So that edge computer will analyze and gives the construction to the control system. Yes.
What is the, how beneficial it will be in terms of the, industrial purpose that it is meant for, and how beneficial it will be for the people who, you said, where they are suffering from that productivity issue?
It can reduce the cost of operations, help in improving the productivity, right? And also improves the efficiency and also improves the safety in the manufacturing shop floor. Because most of the things, what happens is this 24/7, if it has to move, there are a lot of teething related issues. Okay, so a lot of that result in some safety. Now with this autonomous, it is safe. 24/7 it can operate. In fact, one of our customer is moving 380 tons of material. Yeah, in 24/7 operations. Okay, using 7 of these particular machines.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi, for speaking to us. So what you see is the autonomous mobile robot here that we tried to show you, and what it does is clearly, amazing. And this is again, this talks about India, right? This talks about making in India. The Prime Minister has been talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat, the Viksit Bharat 2047 mission that is a part of the Prime Minister's vision. And not only that, he has been vocaling about inclusive AI, physical AI, sovereign AI, and that is what he has got in store for the people who are facing productivity issue, who might have, budget concern, and this is going to be a game changer in the industry. This is me, Brian Thomas, signing off with camera person Setu for NewsX. What a day to be in India, what a day to be in Delhi itself, because it's a jam-packed session that started in 2016 and will be lasting up to 21st itself. Again, and a day of extension. The time has been extended because of the massive response the India AI Summit is getting. The Prime Minister has been vocaling about inclusive AI, sovereign AI, and even physical AI, and how AI and the human can work together, how it can reshape, refurbish, recalibrate jobs. And we are here with so much to show you. This is where we are. This is the AI cricket coach, and we'll show you what it is. There are 2 kind of booths that have been built here where you can come, you can practice your sessions here. And we are, we will be showing you. This is developed, again, made by Google here. And again, what you can do at this AI cricket coach is you can play, and this coach will determine of how well you play and how your shots can be identified itself. I have my colleague Tikam also, who is a reporter for Sunday Garden. He will be also helping us to show the entire demonstration that is there. Tikam, if you can just hold the mic for me, and while I can just do it. So what we need to do is we need to take the bat, and according to that we can show this entire process of that can be done. So can I just have the, so according to what you play, the shot will be designed in that way, and then you will be rated how well your shot has been played. So we'll see how it does. So Tikam, while we play, if you can just hold the mic for me, and let's see how well I can play or how well I score. You can keep the mic in front. So let's see how it works. I don't know if I will. So I think this is how you do. It's 1 ball, right? Or how many balls do we process? It's another. So again, it's a hit wicket again. So I think I was standing a bit behind. So is there any more ball, or I think it's out? So are we doing anything else? So yeah, again, like I showed you, thank you Tikam for helping me. So again, I think the first ball was better. The second was not at all good. It was a hit wicket. So according to that, you can see how the process is done. The camera is there. I'll request my camera person Setu to just show how it's done. The camera is here. So when you give a code here, so you can get a detailed analysis of how it is. And then you get a thank you here, and then you go out, you scan, and then that is how you get your entire process here. You get your rates, how well you were at this. So again, we'd like to show you again, we'll walk you through, and we'll try to have a understanding of what it can be done. So this is the QR there, we will be scanning, even though I played really bad. But still, I mean, the first ball was nice. So again, like I'll show you, the OTP was 3297. You have to submit your OTP. And this is the video of the shot. And you can also see, hey Brian, here's your shot analysis, AI Cricket Coach powered by Google Gemini. And you can view the image, download the way. The score is 88. Keep that, positive intent. Focus on clean contact is what has been stated, because again, the second ball was a hit wicket. But yes, I mean, there's so much to show you, right? I mean, there's so much that needs to be showcased, and we urge our viewers who are watching us on television to come out to experience this, what is in store. There's so much to see. You can see the queue here in 2 sides of on 2 very sides, one in left and right, so that you get an understanding of what you're missing out if you're watching this from your home. And there is so much to be showcased, so much to be seen, and this is our attempt to show you what we have in store, what India has in store here at the Impact AI Summit, and what an impact it is. This is me, Brian Ali Thomas, signing off, camera person Setu for News. Well, NewsX is on ground zero and we are covering the AI Impact Summit 2026. What you see on television right now, we are at the Geo stall, and what you see is the very immersive display of what Mahabharata looks like. This is the craft, this is how you craft the character of Mahabharata. You need to give an image prompt and then this you see a final prompt. What I'll request my camera person Setu to just show what we have in store. This is, you see Krishna here, and we need to, this is the chakra that you need to press. And then what we can do is we can interact with the character here. We have to choose a language. So I choose English. And once you choose English, this is Mahabharata Ek Dharma Yudh. And we can ask the question to the AI, avatar that is here. So suppose I ask, there are 4 questions. What is Dharma? What is the biggest enemy inside us? What should I do when life feels unfair? And there's another question. What is the biggest trap for humans? So I ask the question 1, which is what is Dharma? And it will give a, of the fact that it will, you can see these answers and he will answer. So like you said, like you just saw, that I asked a question here through this very prompt that is in front of me, and then you could see that Krishna himself answered, and there are 2 of these screens, and this is immersive. You see the characters of Mahabharata come in life of the AI avatars that have been created here. There are 2 of these that we are trying to show you. You can choose your characters. You can choose whatever the character you want, and also interact with the character. The avatar will answer your questions, and there are such many, halls, booths that are here, these immersive halls, and this is our attempt to show everything we can from our end, and to us also. We urge the viewers to come here, experience this in person, and see what India has got here at the AI Impact Summit. This is me, Brian Andy Thomas, signing off, camera person Setu for NewsX, Delhi.
जो भी पके ऐसा पके जहाँ भी हो जो खींचा चलाए पिसी दिल हो या पुलियो गिरे वांगी भात हो या पोड़ी मसाला रस पाउडर या सांभर मसाला असली मसाले सच सच MDH चना मसाला। अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने, सब कुछ मजेदार बने। MDH
लाल रंग इसका अपार,
तीखा कम है फिर भी स्वाद,
बेमिसाल बेमिसाल MDH कश्मीरी,
MDH कश्मीरी।
MDH।
कार इंश्योरेंस डन।
पॉलिसी बाजार से कराया?
नहीं।
तो तू ज़ीब्रा नहीं हो सकता।
मतलब?
अगर पॉलिसी बाजार से कार इंश्योरेंस कंपेयर करके लेता तो 12,000 रुपए तक बचा सकता था। इसलिए तू ज़ीब्रा तो नहीं है, तू है गधा। काइंड ऑफ।
MDH कसूरी मेथी लाजवाब है, लाजवाब है।
स्वाद और सुगंध इसकी
लाजवाब है, लाजवाब है।
अगर MDH कसूरी मेथी नहीं डाला
तो खाली हाथ मलते रह जाओगे।
एक एक पत्ता हाथ से चुना, स्वाद और सुगंध जगाए कई गुना।
MDH।
अगर आप बनना चाहते हैं एंकर, या फिर आप में है जुनून एक तेज तर्रार न्यूज रिपोर्टर बनने का, तो आप ज्वाइन करें ITV और इंडिया न्यूज NewsX का मीडिया स्कूल। ITV नेक्स्ट मीडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल का कोर्स आपको मौका देता है देश के दिग्गज एंकर्स के साथ काम करने का। ITV नेक्स्ट मीडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल में आप बेहद नजदीकी से देख पाएंगे किस तरह से ITV नेटवर्क के दिग्गज पत्रकारों की टीम दिन रात खबरों पर काम करती है। इस कोर्स के दौरान आप सीखेंगे एंकरिंग की एक एक बारीकी उन एंकर्स के साथ जो देश को रखते हैं हर खबर से बाखबर। ITV नेक्स्ट मीडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल का ये कोर्स आपके एंकरिंग स्किल्स को करेगा इतना सशक्त, मजबूत, जिससे आप बनेंगे पत्रकारिता की दुनिया का वो चमकता चेहरा जो दुनिया देखेगी और पसंद करेगी।
India and US signed Pax Silica Declaration, coalition that will define the 21st century economic order. reduces heavy dependence on China for rare earths, building a secure ecosystem for critical minerals and artificial intelligence. As Pax Silica entry marks strategic shift in AI and semicon.
Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX Explained. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. Today marks a defining moment in India's foreign policy and technological journey. India is officially integrated into Pax Silica, a United States-led strategic initiative that seeks to reshape the global technology order. This move is not merely diplomatic, it signals India's entry into a coalition that is attempting to write the rules of the next industrial era. At a time when technology has become the primary driver of economic power, India's decision to join Pax Silica represents a clear strategic choice. New Delhi is aligning itself with a group of partners to shape the future of semiconductors, artificial intelligence, data infrastructure, and critical minerals. It is a signal that India is preparing for a world where geopolitics is increasingly defined by who controls silicon, compute, and knowledge flows. This development also comes after a phase of trade frictions and policy disagreements between India and the United States. By joining Pax Silica, India is indicating its willingness to move beyond short-term disputes and participate in building the foundational technologies that will define global economic power for decades to come. Pax Silica was formally launched in December 2025 during a high-level summit in Washington. Described as a roadmap for an innovation-driven global economy, the initiative is built on a shared commitment to secure and strengthen the entire technology value chain. This includes everything from raw earth materials used in hardware manufacturing to the advanced software architectures that power artificial intelligence. Unlike traditional trade blocs or military alliances, Pax Silica is designed around technological trust. Its founding declaration calls for coordination across supply chains, standard setting, investment flows, and policy frameworks, with the aim of creating a stable and resilient global tech ecosystem. The alliance currently includes Australia, Greece, Israel, Japan, Qatar, South Korea, Singapore, the United Arab Emirates, and the United Kingdom. India now becomes the 10th member of this group, following a formal invitation from US Ambassador Sergio Gore. India's inclusion is strategic as it brings scale, engineering capability, and a large emerging market into the framework. Together, these countries share a common objective. They seek to build a durable technological order that reduces risk, limits coercive dependence, and promotes mutual prosperity. This is a response to a world where supply chains have been weaponized and access to key technologies can be used as geopolitical leverage. The Pax Silica agreement was formally sealed by senior leaders from both India and the US. Underscoring the strategic weight of the partnership, the documents were signed by Jacob Helberg, Undersecretary for Economic Affairs, Michael Kratsios, Director of the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy, and Sergio Gore, the United States Ambassador to India. On the Indian side, the signatories included Ashwini Vaishnav, Minister for Electronics and Information Technology, and S. Krishnan, Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, marking a high-level commitment to the Pax Silica framework from both governments. Undersecretary for Economic Affairs Jacob Helberg has summed up the philosophy behind Pax Silica by saying that data and silicon are the new oil and steel. Listen.
We are building a new architecture that diffuses intelligence, placing the awesome power of AI into the palm of our people's hands and unleashing a wave of unprecedented possibility. From the minds to the models, we are securing the full stack of the future, the minerals deep in the earth, the silicon wafers in our labs and fabs, and the intelligence that will unleash human potential. Pax Silica is our declaration that the future belongs to those who build.
It really underlines the importance of India being a friend and a partner in the Pax Silica project. There are so many American companies who came here and rolled out incredibly historic projects. Google rolled out a trans-Pacific and oceanic submarine cable that connects India to the United States. Micron was here earlier rolling out fabs that actually complement their activities in the US. I think this is part of a much bigger story about India and the US working together.
At the center of this framework is the recognition that artificial intelligence is a transformative force. AI is not just a tool for automation or efficiency, it has the potential to reorganize global supply chains, reshape energy demands, and alter labor markets across economies. The rapid acceleration of AI has created unprecedented infrastructural requirements. These include massive energy grids, high-end data centers, specialized semiconductor fabrication and access to advanced compute. No single country can build or control this entire stack alone. Pax Silica seeks to address this by aligning standards, pooling resources and sharing risk. Listen in to what Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, had to say.
Pax Silica focuses on making sure that the supply chains are safe and secure and encourages greater commercial partnerships across key technologies. So let me congratulate the US and India on this historic moment. Alongside the recent trade agreement, this will lay a strong foundation for a robust US-India tech partnership for many years to come.
A key objective of the Pax Silica framework is the reduction of coercive dependence in recent years. The world has seen how control over key materials or technologies can be used to exert political pressure. The alliance aims to ensure that no single country holds a monopoly over technologies essential to another economic or strategic survival. For India, this is critical consideration. By participating in a shared and secure digital infrastructure, India can protect its technological advancements, reduce supply shock risks, and build a resilient silicon ecosystem that supports long-term economic growth and strategic autonomy. Listening to what Ashwini Vaishnav and Sergio Gore said on the occasion.
We also had Pax Silica today, which is very important for us from the semiconductor industry perspective, from resilient supply chain, resilient value chain perspective. And the fact that
India's entry into Pax Silica isn't just symbolic, it's strategic, it's essential. India is a nation with deep talent, deep enough to rival challengers. India's engineering depth offers critical capabilities for this vital coalition. In addition to talent, India has made important strides towards critical mineral processing capacity, and that's something that we're fully engaged on also.
The economic implications of India's entry into Pax Silica are already being reflected in market analysis. Stock market experts believe that the move will have a positive long-term impact on Indian equities. The initiative is expected to strengthen AI and semiconductor supply chains while also countering Chinese dominance in these strategic sectors. Companies such as GMDC, Nalco, Dixon Technologies, Mahindra & Mahindra, Bajaj Auto, Bharat Forge and Gokuldas Exports are amongst those expected to gain from this New Delhi-Washington alignment. While the immediate GDP impact may be limited over a 5 to 10 year period, the partnership could increase manufacturing's share in GDP, strengthen exports, stabilize the currency and enhance strategic technological autonomy. As part of this broader vision, India and the United States have also announced a joint statement on the AI Opportunity Partnership. This initiative aims to promote pro-innovation regulatory frameworks, strengthen the physical AI stack and advance free enterprise. Ultimately, India's entry into Pax Silica is all about securing a place at the table where the future of technology, economic power and global governance is being shaped. As silicon and data become the currency of the modern world, this alliance represents a bet that trusted partnership, not fragmentation, will define the next phase of global growth. For India, the real test now lies in execution. How effectively it can leverage this moment to build capacity, create jobs and shape the AI-driven world on its own terms will determine whether Pax Silica becomes a strategic turning point or just another diplomatic milestone.
India and US signed Pax Silica Declaration, coalition that will define the 21st century economic order, reduces heavy dependence on China for rare earths, building a secure ecosystem for critical minerals and artificial intelligence. As Pax Silica entry marks strategic shift in AI and semicon.
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर। MDH गरम मसाला, असली मसालों से भरा हूँ मैं,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
सस्ते वाले दाल मसाले स्वाद हुआ बेकार। MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
कार इंश्योरेंस डन।
पॉलिसी बाजार से कराया?
नहीं।
तो तू ज़ीब्रा नहीं हो सकता। कार नई हो या पुरानी, पॉलिसी बाजार पे कंपेयर करके खरीदो और 30,000 तक बचाओ। इसलिए तू ज़ीब्रा तो नहीं है, तू है गधा। Kind of.
आपके घर के खाने में रेस्टोरेंट जैसा स्वाद ले आए MDH का शाही पनीर मसाला। पनीर को क्या मस्त बना डाला।
MDH का किचन किंग किचन में हो तो हम सब कुछ बना सकते हैं। बैंगन का भरता, आलू गोभी, भिंडी मसाला और भी बहुत कुछ।
MDH अब आया असली स्वाद।
अब आया स्वाद।
जब स्वाद के पड़े हो लाले तो MDH का चंकी चाट मसाला डालें। MDH का चंकी चाट मसाला।
MDH. Trump presides over Board of Peace inaugural meet. Board focuses on Gaza ceasefire and reconstruction. India attends first ever meeting as observer, while Pakistan PM Shehbaz Sharif gets sidelined. What unfolded at the board's first ever session?
Hello and welcome to another episode of NewsX Explained. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. Today we are turning our attention to one of the most talked about global diplomatic events, the inaugural meeting of US President Donald Trump-led Board of Peace Initiative. The ambitious and controversial international initiative held its first meeting on the 19th of February in Washington, D.C., drawing both global attention and skepticism. Trump's Board of Peace is, as per the White House, has been designed as a new international conflict resolution and peace-building platform, initially focused on the war-torn Gaza Strip, aiming to oversee post-war reconstruction and long-term stability. However, it is also now being presented by Trump as a broader mechanism that he wishes to utilize to tackle other international hotspots. Trump has gone so far as to position it as a potential counterweight to the United Nations system. Upwards of 40 to 50 countries attended in various capacities, and approximately 27 accepted full membership on the Board of Peace, covering a mix of nations from different regions. Representatives from the European Union, Japan, the UK, Germany and India attended as observers rather than full board members. Presiding with a gavel over the meeting in the gleaming Washington building of the former US Institute of Peace, which has been gutted and renamed after the 79-year-old US President himself, Trump hailed the powerful people who joined his board. The inaugural session saw many interesting developments, beginning with Trump pledging a massive financial commitment, $10 billion from the United States to the board's peace and reconstruction efforts in Gaza. This, of course, comes after Trump has sharply curtailed foreign aid. Moreover, Trump did not explain exactly where the money would go and whether Congress has approved the contribution he announced for the institution, which has drawn criticism for its opaque nature. Other countries, particularly from West and Central Asia, including Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain, Morocco, Qatar, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, Kuwait and Kazakhstan also pledged billions more in contributions. The nations raised $7 billion as initial down payment for Gaza reconstruction. Meanwhile, Egypt has offered to continue its efforts to train Palestinian police personnel in order to maintain security. The agenda focused on Gaza as well, combining formal pledges, planning for an international stabilization force and police training, and discussions on reconstruction and governance in Gaza. With the second phase of the plan following the ceasefire, calling for the disarmament of Hamas, troop has pledged to form a big part of the board's first session. In a first for an Arab country, Morocco announced it was ready to send police as well as officers to the nascent International Stabilization Force. The force's American commander, Major General Jasper Jeffers, said that Albania, Indonesia, Kazakhstan and Kosovo were also sending troops and announced that an Indonesian officer would serve as his deputy. Indonesia earlier said it was ready to send 8,000 troops, nearly half of the 20,000 sought. This led to Trump hailing Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto, who attended, calling the former military officer accused of human rights abuses in East Timor a tough cookie. Nikolai Mladenov, a veteran Bulgarian diplomat named High Representative for Gaza by the United States, also announced the beginning of recruitment for a post-Hamas police force in Gaza and said 2,000 people had applied in the first hours. Let's focus on the notable events at the gathering that involved the subcontinent. Firstly, India's cautious engagement. India chose to send an observer for the inaugural session, stopping short of full membership. Now, before we turn our attention to who India sent as representative, it's important to remember that India received an invitation to be part of the board, but did not issue official confirmation of its acceptance. Then last week, MEA spokesperson Randeep Jaiswal said India was reviewing the proposal to join the board and it had always supported efforts to promote peace in West Asia. And now with the appointment of an observer, it became clear that India was willing to engage with the board, even if it was not ready to be a full-fledged member yet. And so it sent veteran IFS officer in charge of affairs at the Indian Embassy in Washington, Namgya Khampa, as observer. Born on 12 February 1977 in Uttarakhand, she is a seasoned diplomat who holds master's and MPhil degrees in international relations. Currently serving as Charge d'Affaires and Deputy Chief of the Indian Mission, she oversees key diplomatic engagements between India and the US. Khampa served as India's permanent mission to the United Nations in New York from 2009 to 2013. While there, she was elected to the United Nations Advisory Committee on Administrative and Budgetary Questions for the 2011-2013 term. A significant resume also includes having served as India's representative on the Executive Board of the United Nations Development Programme and the United Nations Population Fund during her tenure in New York. From 2016 to 2018, Khampa also served on deputation to the Prime Minister's office. Khampa headed the Development Partnership Division at India's Ministry of External Affairs from 2018 to 2020, overseeing Indian grant assistance and development cooperation with neighbouring countries. She has also been Deputy Chief of India's Kathmandu Mission, High Commission to Kenya, and served 2 stints at India's China Mission. India's decision to send an observer instead of becoming a full member reflects its decision to be strategically cautious by being present as an observer, not a member. India is signalling a wait-and-watch approach. Officials are reportedly monitoring how other major powers respond and have expressed concern that an alternative peace mechanism might undermine the United Nations' central role in global crisis management. The other major development, and perhaps inversely so, was Pakistan's involvement. In a slew of embarrassing moments, Pakistan was left considerably red-faced even before the event started. It all began with the Pakistan Foreign Ministry statement announcing Sharif's US visit that was replete with typos. For example, the United States of America became United States of Americas. But more uneasiness was in store for Shehbaz once he landed in Washington. Now, Shehbaz may have praised him as a man of peace, even called him savior of South Asia. He also nominated him for the Nobel Peace Prize, but all these shenanigans did not seem to cut much ice with Donald Trump, as he appeared marginalized and sidelined during the inaugural meeting. Several videos have also gone viral showing Sharif isolated and cutting a lonely figure at the event where Pakistan sought to project its so-called global relevance. Perhaps the most embarrassing moment for Sharif came during the group photo when he was denied a central position and pushed to the back while Trump stood front and center alongside US Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Leaders from Saudi Arabia, Indonesia and Qatar were positioned directly behind the US President. Sharif, by contrast, was pushed to the margins. Now, Trump's initiative is far from universally embraced. Criticism has been forthcoming from Europe, with France, the UK, Germany and Canada declining full involvement, citing concerns that the board diverts authority from established global institutions and also lacks clear multilateral foundations. Even the Vatican expressly declined participation. Secondly, questions have also been raised on no Palestinian representation at a time when the reconstruction and political future of Gaza remain deeply contested topics. This exclusion has particularly raised eyebrows. And then, of course, comes the Trump rhetoric. Trump used the platform to reiterate past claims about his diplomatic role, including controversial and widely disputed assertions about brokering peace between India and Pakistan and ending conflicts with his tariff strategies. Many observers characterize parts of his address as politically charged and self-promotional, blending diplomacy with domestic narratives. So what does this inaugural meeting of the Board of Peace really tell us? Well, first, this is classic Donald Trump. Bold, disruptive, headline-driven diplomacy. A $10 billion pledge, a new global platform, and a clear message that he intends to reshape how peace processes are structured, even if it means bypassing traditional institutions like the UN. Second, the global response shows caution. Major Western powers stayed at arm's length. Palestinian representation was absent, and questions remain about legitimacy, inclusivity, and execution. Third, the optics matter. India sent an observer, Namgya Si Khampa, signaling engagement but not endorsement. It's a calibrated move. Watch, assess, and keep diplomatic flexibility. On the other hand, Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif attended as a full member, yet appeared diplomatically sidelined, reinforcing how symbolism at such summits can shape perception as much as policy. The bigger question now is this: will the Board of Peace become a lasting diplomatic mechanism or remain a political moment driven by personality and power projection? Because peace architecture is not built in one meeting, it is tested in crisis, negotiated in silence, and judged by outcomes. For now, the Board of Peace is launched with money, momentum and media glare. Whether it delivers real peace or not depends or deepens global divides is the story the world will be watching next.
Trump presides over Board of Peace inaugural meet. Board focuses on Gaza ceasefire and reconstruction. India attends first ever meeting as observer, while Pakistan PM Shehbaz Sharif gets sidelined. What unfolded at the board's first ever session?
Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. Pakistan has violated the ceasefire along the LOC in Kupwara district of North Kashmir. According to officials, the ceasefire violation took place around noon at the Tutmar Gully in the Nogam sector of Kupwara. Posts from across the LOC opened fire with small arms on Indian positions. The firing continued for some time before subsiding. They said, adding that there was no loss of life or injury in the incident. The latest violation comes a day after the Indian Army foiled a major infiltration attempt in the Sundarbani sector of Rajouri along the LOC. Security forces are maintaining heightened vigil along the LOC in view of the recent developments. Ajay Jandial joins us for more on this story. Ajay, what can you tell us about what has transpired along the LOC?
Yes, it was already expected that Pakistan, will try to destroy peace in Jammu and Kashmir, and for that purpose, Pakistan could try pushing the terrorists from across the LOC area of Jammu and Kashmir. Yesterday, it was in Sundarbani sector when Pakistani army, they tried to push in terrorists over here in the Jammu and Kashmir, and that attempt was foiled by the alert Indian army troops, and weapons was recovered today during the search operation. But in the evening today, in the afternoon today, once again, Pakistani army violated ceasefire in the Nogam sector of line of control in the Kupwara, and the firing was on for several minutes, and it was retaliated effectively by the Indian forces, as well, Indian army as well. And Indian army was already on the alert because there are apprehension that number of terrorists also are waiting across the line of control. They will try to infiltrate to this side, and there are apprehension that terrorists basically want to cross over here into the Jammu and Kashmir to carry out major attacks. So that attempt have been foiled by the Indian army in Kupwara and in Sundarbani sector. And today, when they try to, in frustration, they try to target the defense forces over there, Indian army troops over there. It was also retaliated very effectively. We have seen that after the Operation Sindoor, both the forces of India and Pakistan, they have agreed for the ceasefire, but Pakistan, they always try to, violate that, and it was retaliated effectively.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Ajay, with those details. Let's take a short break.
कार इंश्योरेंस डन।
पॉलिसी बाजार से कराया?
नहीं।
तो तू ज़ीब्रा नहीं हो सकता।
मतलब?
अगर पॉलिसी बाजार से कार इंश्योरेंस कंपेयर करके लेता तो 12,000 रुपए तक बचा सकता था। इसलिए तू ज़ीब्रा तो नहीं है, तू है
गधा।
काइंड ऑफ।
अगर आप बनना चाहते हैं एंकर या फिर आप में है जुनून एक तेज तर्रार न्यूज रिपोर्टर बनने का, तो आप ज्वाइन करें ITV और इंडिया NewsX का मीडिया स्कूल। ITV नेक्स्ट मीडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल का कोर्स आपको मौका देता है देश के दिग्गज एंकर्स के साथ काम करने का। ITV नेक्स्ट मीडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल में आप बेहद नजदीकी से देख पाएंगे किस तरह से ITV नेटवर्क के दिग्गज पत्रकारों की टीम दिन रात खबरों पर काम करती है। इस कोर्स के दौरान आप सीखेंगे एंकरिंग की एक एक बारीकी उन एंकर्स के साथ जो देश को रखते हैं हर खबर से बाखबर। ITV नेक्स्ट मीडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल का ये कोर्स आपके एंकरिंग स्किल्स को करेगा इतना सशक्त, मजबूत, जिससे आप बनेंगे पत्रकारिता की दुनिया का वो चमकता चेहरा जो दुनिया देखेगी और पसंद करेगी।
कार इंश्योरेंस डन।
पॉलिसी बाजार से कराया?
नहीं।
तो तू ज़ीब्रा नहीं हो सकता। कार नई हो या पुरानी, पॉलिसी बाजार पे कंपेयर करके खरीदो और 30,000 तक बचाओ। इसलिए तू ज़ीब्रा तो नहीं है, तू है
गधा।
काइंड ऑफ।
Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. The Baluch Liberation Army has released a video purportedly showing 7 Pakistani army personnel it claims to have captured recently, directly challenging reported denials by the Pakistani military establishment that the men are its soldiers. The new footage, which appears to show the alleged soldiers kneeling on the ground in rugged terrain with armed men standing beside them, has emerged with just 3 days remaining before the February 22nd deadline set by the group for a proposed prisoner exchange. The BLA has warned that the detainees could face execution if negotiations do not take place within that period. The Pakistani army officials have reportedly claimed that no soldiers were missing or in militant custody, contradicting visuals circulating online. Challenging this stance, the detainees displayed their official service cards and national identity documents on camera, claiming they were formally recruited, issued identification and deployed by the army. One of the soldiers, identified as Mohammad Shahram, a sepoy, crying and questioning the military's denial. How can the army say we're not theirs? The detained men appealed to the Pakistan military leadership and government authorities, urging them to accept the BLA's demand for prisoner exchange involving Baluch prisoners or detainees. They also called on officials to negotiate and meet the group's demands so they can be released and return home safely. This is not the first time Pakistan has abandoned its own. Pakistan's military is repeating history by disowning its own soldiers once again. Karori Singh, foreign affairs expert, is live with us. Amar Musti Khan, senior journalist, is also joining us live. Ali Ashraf Rata, Pakistan foreign affairs expert, is joining us live. Major General Sudhakarji, geopolitical expert, also is now joining the broadcast. Let me make a start with you first, Karori Singh, on what you make of this flip-flop by Pakistan and what it really tells us about how they dishonor their own army and their own soldiers.
Yes, Uday, how it is unusual, that is the question. Unusual in the sense some kind of prisoner exchange or the army personnel in the custody of the in the army of different country, some kind of a negotiating process takes place, then the prisoners exchange takes place. That is not unusual. Second thing, such things happen in the case of the intelligence networks, because if there are certain intelligence people, they have been caught by a different country, then the nations can deny that they are not our person. We have no connection with these persons. But in the armed forces, such thing is happening. That is the unusual. And the second unusual is within a single country it is happening. Because Baluch army is right at the moment is not a sovereign state's army. It is within the Pakistan. So these two things are unusual. And why this is unusual is it is the fundamental problem with Pakistan is Pakistan was created on the basis of religion, and religion can never be a basis of any nationhood. Only 2-3 countries are created on the basis of religion: Israel, Vatican, Saudi Arab. But that is the different case, because the religious sites are there in these countries. But in Pakistan, there is no such thing. And that is not the, once Pakistan has been created, it's an artificial identity. Pakistan has no cultural and linguistic identity at all, and even not the ethnic identity. So different communities brought together through a political process in 1947. And then the Pakistani governments, they did not try to accommodate the different pluralities, different identities. Instead, they tried to oppress these identities. So the accommodation process has not taken place. And not only the accommodation process, instead they try to exploit these communities, their resources, political oppression, and that is why Bangladesh has emerged. Similarly, now the Baluchistan has a deeper identity, Baluch identity. So Pakistani government, successive governments, not one government, but successive government did not try to accommodate the Baluch identity and consider their genuine demands of the resources, their claim over the resources and the well-being of the people. And if such things have not taken place, naturally they started their movement initially for autonomy, and then now they are for the secession. So the Pakistani government's handling of the situation, its own situation, their problem lies. Now how to deal with denying army that the soldiers who are in the custody of the Baloch National Army are not our person. This is the double fault of the Pakistani forces.
Yes.
They should not deny. They must say these are the our person. But Baloch has no right because they should be accommodated. The process of dialogue must be started, and the exchange should take place. Large number of Baloch people, the BLA people, they are in the custody of Pakistani army.
Absolutely. Amar Mashtukan, what do you make of this video? And, has there been any official response after this video went viral from the Pakistani army or the Pakistani state?
Namaskar. I will like to say that Pakistan is what is called a leptocracy, a state that is run on lies. And the DIG, the Director General of the Internal Services Public Relations, the army spokesperson, he is in denial. He says, no, our men are not in the custody of the BLA. So when they are in denial of such things, and they are saying that all this that is being shown online are all artificial intelligence, I can only question their intelligence. I feel very sorry for this state of Pakistan, which is a failed British project. Just like the honorable gentleman ahead of me said, it has got no roots, it has got no ideology. It was founded on the basis of hatred, religious, communal hatred. And it was a strange country, you see. The Prime Minister arrived in Karachi one day before the creation of the country. He had got nothing to do with whatever the land of Pakistan today exists. All were imported and they were from outside. It was a big tragedy. It was the creation of Pakistan was one of the white man's worst sins in the last century. Our women are being forcibly disappeared, the Baloch woman. Majabeen, Hani, Harunissa, Nasreen, Rahima, Hazra, Farzana, they are in the ISI dungeons. They are in ISI torture cells. Our very valuable women, the Baloch people, are an honor-based society. You know what, Udeji, I have to point out here, even today, the most number of honor killings take place in Balochistan. It's very unfortunate. I'm not going to defend that. But this is how the people think. For the people, the women are the most sacred and the most precious, honorable thing that they value. And these Punjabi generals, they don't understand our culture. They have forcibly disappeared these women, and they have, in arbitrary detention, they have kept the de facto Prime Minister of Balochistan, Dr. Marang Baloch, and her two closest colleagues, Gulzadi Baloch and Bibo Baloch. And these Punjabi generals are so arrogant. They are so arrogant. They are being pumped up by one of the worst, most corrupt presidents in US history, Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump is calling this guy very courageous, very brave, and God knows what. He's lionizing a terrorist general. As you know, this Asim Munir was 100% involved in the Pulwana attacks that took precious lives of Indians, and also in the Pahalgam attacks. And these white people, they have two standards. When it comes to their own thing, they will then cry. But when it comes to India, when it comes to the Baloch people, when it comes to Afghans, this Pakistan military is doing with all of us. They are doing this terrorism against all of us. You see, it's not just Baloch. They also go and do terrorism against the bigger neighbor like India, against Afghans. I really wish this state, the British failed project, should now be wrapped up. It's long past its historic utility. Thank you, sir.
Okay, let me take that to you. In fact, as well, Ali Ashraf Rata, to just talk us viewers through how this is a pattern. It's not just a one-off where Pakistan has denied, their army men have gone missing or their army men have been captured, but it seems to be a pattern. What then does it tell us about a nation if this is how it treats their army men?
First of all, I will respond to your first panelist who was actually claiming Pakistan being created on the religion basis. I think he is not aware about the historical facts, and he's trying to destroy those historical facts which been not read by him. Actually, Pakistan being created after a long struggle to be a single unit when the Hindu extremists didn't given the right to the Muslim community. Then Muslim thought about the Pakistan, and that nation thought, and this country being created. So this is the fact, and nobody can change this history, and history cannot be changed. And the second thing, the video that you are talking about, that is clearly it's a 21st century and a technology era where how you can claim an AI created video to be a real video. So I think it's really unfortunate to claim such things on a media without any clue and any truth in that. The second thing, I'll respond to Amar Khan for what he was saying about the missing persons. Yes, I am with the people who are innocent and they are missing. I am always I raise voice even for them. But the people who are BLA and TTP, according to the facts, these both are Indian assets deployed in Pakistan, and they are continuously terrorizing the nation. They are killing innocent people from Sindh, from Punjab, from even Baloch. He's
no, this is now peddling of lies. This is now peddling of lies, Ali, which we must intervene and stop. On a responsible platform, you cannot propagate complete mistruths. You have to back them up with facts. But Ali, let me come back to the question that I asked you at the beginning. Are these your soldiers in the video? Are these Pakistani army soldiers in the video or not?
No, these are not. They are AI generated soldiers.
What a joke. What a joke, because this is something that's happened earlier as well. Pakistan, it seems, unfortunately, has no respect for its army men. And if a country does not have respect for its army men, what does that tell us about a country?
I'm not aware about what is your expertise on that, but I'm PhD in AI, dear Mister. I know what AI is. It's an AI generated video. I can give you detail on that, but I think it's not a topic. I want to answer in this short time to the other panelists and you as well. They were lying and you were not disturbing them, and now in my turn,
I'm intervening because you are merely making allegations without backing them up with facts. It's very convenient to say something is doctored, something is AI generated, but it's happened before as well. Before too, multiple times, whenever whenever you have a war with India, or whenever something like Operation Sindoor happens, you propagate mistruths. So this is a pattern in Pakistan. It's nothing new. Major General Sudhakarji, what do you make of what Ali Rata has said on the broadcast? This brazen denial by Pakistan of this BLA video, and have their lies been caught by what we've seen in this video footage again?
If you will not accept the truth, then
Ali, I will come back to you. I will come back to you. Let's give everyone a chance. Let's give everyone a chance to speak. Let's give everyone a chance to speak. Major Sudhakarji, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Uday. Thank you for inviting me for your show. My compliments to very distinguished co-panelists, particularly from the Mr. Rata, Ashraf Rata from Pakistan. Wish him all the very best. And nobody is contesting anybody. NewsX or any other channel in India, we welcome our guests to give their perspective. If there is any element of truth in what they are saying, well, so be it. But as per my analysis, I have been a student of geopolitics, international relations. I have dealt with immediate neighborhood when I was in service. I keep constantly in touch. I may not be a PhD in artificial intelligence, but I am PhD in soldiering. So when a soldier joins the dots, what emerges is that Pakistan as a state has been surviving on the very doctrine of deniability. Right from the inception, the birth of Pakistan, this is my reading, so I don't want to, without meaning to contradict anybody, just allow me to give you a couple of points. When it came to 47, 48, or without diverting the main topic, when you come to the instrument of the accession, despite the standstill agreement which Balochistan, the king of Kalat, as per, I am a student of history also. King of Kalat at gunpoint in presence of Jinnah, he was made to sign a document while just couple of months back, 15th August 1947, he is the one who had announced to the world about independence status of Balochistan. They had two bicameral system of parliament. The people had actually exercised their mandate. They had gone in for electing their representatives, and they had a flag, national flag. And this happened 15th August 1947, and by 24th March, if I respect my memory, 1948, you find this thing going on to the constitutional integration. Balochistan was constitutionally integrated. It was declared, I suppose, on 30th. Formally, it was accepted as an integral part. So it goes, what am I trying to highlight? I'm trying to highlight is that despite all dots joining, which is indicative of a truth, the history cannot be altered, geography cannot be altered. You may change it once, twice. Look at Kargil, what happened? Despite the denial that Pakistan kept on saying that it is the Mujahids who are there in Kargil, who are contesting or fighting against the Indian army. And what happened ultimately? Their own chief, they have said it is the 8th NLI, Northern Light Infantry. It's a regular infantry battalion which was there. Similarly, if you look back, dissect each of the operations, 1965 or 71, in each of these, there have been instances, there have been anecdotes wherein Pakistan's denial of such truthful things has repeatedly been perpetuated, thereby reducing its credibility. Even though it may be, in the worst of circumstances, let's accept the hypothesis which is being shared by our friend from across. Let's say it is generated artificial intelligence. The regular nation states of the world today don't even have artificial intelligence. They haven't mastered. If by all chance, let's say, the Baloch Liberation Army has already adopted artificial intelligence, that means they deserve to get the nationhood. Let's for a change think about it, introspect all the aspects. Nobody wants to interfere in anybody's administration or jurisdiction, but here is something which is burning, which is taking Pakistan down the drain.
Absolutely.
It cannot actually reverse. It cannot, it cannot bounce back to its normalcy and law.
Okay. Let me. Yes. I do know that Ali. Obviously, you have your eyes on the AI summit, which India has so magnificently hosted, and I'm sure you will applaud India for that. But everything is not AI. Respond to Major Sudhakarji also. Who is Mohammad Shahram? Do you know? Mohammad Shahram.
Two things. Actually, there are two things which I would like to respond. I really appreciate the Indian market for AI and the technology. They are progressing. I really like that, and I love that. It's really appreciable. But the logic Major was telling, if BLA, a terrorist organization, is using AI, they deserve a state. That means I'm a PhD in AI and I should be a Prime Minister of India. So is it okay with you? No, that's not the logic. Actually, the nation is a different story, and it's a different logic, and it also.
Okay, I asked you a question about who is Mohammad Shahram. I asked you who is Mohammad Shahram. The individual in the video, the sepoy, who is crying and who is so upset that the Pakistani military that recruited him, that gave him his mission, is now not accepting it? Who is Mohammad Shera?
Actually, any name you will ask, it's Muhammad Aslam or Muhammad Akbar or Shahram or whatever. You can say anything and nobody.
So you mean he's a fictitious person?
Well, yes, it looked like it's
Amar
a fictitious person. And one more thing, Major asked about how the Prince of Cloth been signed the agreement on gunpoint. That means it's not a Gujarat, Major, where you did the same. You actually forcefully inherit that state. We are
Amar
not like that.
Amar Mustika.
Thank you. You see, it is ridiculous. Whatever the gentleman from Pakistan is saying, extremely ridiculous. I appreciate Major General Sudhakarji's views, but we Baloch don't believe in these artificial things. We are a genuine people. We are a genuine nation. We are going to become a genuine country. The state of Pakistan was artificial from the get-go. You can please show me one country in the world where the majority seceded from the federation. And it has happened in Pakistan. In 1971, their stupid ideology of two-nation theory was drowned in the Bay of Bengal. And that was one instance in world history, entire world history, where the major nationality, which were the Bengalis, they seceded from the federation. And now the area-wise largest people, the Baloch, we are going to secede. We are not going to tolerate their misrule of our holy land, of our seaports, of our resources. Did you watch how Shehbaz Sharif was, being slavish before Mr. Trump? He was calling Trump a savior of South Asia, when Trump is called the most corrupt president in US history, the most immoral. He is equating humans with apes. He is doing all kind of nonsensical things. And they are very proud that Trump is acknowledging them. Their intellect is very low. These guys' intellect is very low. I feel very sorry for them.
I will not personally.
No, please don't interrupt me. You guys have no
question. With respectfully, I want to ask a question. Do you know the history of Balochistan? What is Balochistan?
What do you know? What do you mean? No, you know it.
No, you don't know. You don't know the history of it.
What can I say now?
What is Balochistan? You know?
What is Balochistan?
When it is created?
They don't even know how to call our nation. Udeji, our people are named Baloch.
That means you are laughing.
And the Prime Minister, this Form 47 Prime Minister, Form 47 Prime Minister calls us Balochi. Their Khwaja Asif Defense Minister calls us Balochi. And he's asking me if I know Balochi or not. Where does this cartoon come from?
Hello, Mr.
Are you a cartoon or what?
Hello, Mr. Sheth, what you are? You don't know the history of it. You are just barking on a channel.
No, please.
Without no fact. What is the history?
What can I say, Udeji?
Okay, no. Now let's not get personal. Let's not get personal. There has to be a certain decorum in a debate. There has to be a certain decorum in a debate. Unfortunately, I've run totally out of time on this discussion, so I'm going to have to thank you all there. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us, because we're getting more breaking news now coming in. The US Supreme Court has struck down President Donald Trump's sweeping global tariffs, undercutting his signature economic policy and delivering his biggest legal defeat since he returned to the White House. The court has said Trump exceeded his authority by invoking a federal emergency powers law to impose his reciprocal tariffs across the globe, as well as targeted import taxes. The administration says address fentanyl trafficking. Meanwhile, US stock indices, Dow Jones has jumped by 100 points following this ruling. Major General Sudhakarji is live with us on this big story, strategic affairs expert. Major Sudhakarji, what do you make of this big setback for Donald Trump?
It's a setback, all right, but this is a tight slap on his face for the idiosyncrasies that he has demonstrated. Since 20th January 2025, he is not heard. Even if he ignored his advisors, the clear signatures and the responses which came from world over has not been paid heed to by him. The hallmark of a supreme, the commander or the leader of a superpower, I think lies in an effective listening. He has not heard it. He should have taken a call when the federal courts, I think 2 of the courts had given the verdict, the judgment against the thing that it was an unlawful practice. The constitution itself is amply clear. Go through the 1977 article. It says that president is entitled to only 3%. Anything more than 3%, it has to be ratified, or the Congress has to give the concurrence. How could, for the first time, it has not happened there are many precedents. Reagan, Bush, you come to this person, what's his name? McKinley, William McKinley, in 1897 to 2001. People in the USA must have read the history. I'm an Indian, I'm an outsider. I take interest to read, to join the dots. What did McKinley do? What did he do? From 1897 to 2001, he also played the same game. And he tried his best to actually use whatever tariff income was coming. He tried to run the federal budget with that. What happened finally? He was assassinated in 2001. And what happened to Nixon? He just got into that scandal, Watergate scandal. He also tried the same stunt.
All right.
Same stunt was tried by the Reagan. So he should actually derive a lesson out of it. And it is always better for the larger good. Supreme Court is Supreme Court.
Absolutely.
The US is
and that's why, of course, the US Supreme Court has had the final say. They've struck this down now. What happens next in the global trade war is something we'll be watching out for. Major General Sudhakarji, thank you for joining us with your perspective. Let's take a break.
आपके घर के खाने में रेस्टोरेंट जैसा स्वाद ले आए MDH का शाही पनीर मसाला। पनीर को क्या मस्त बना डाला।
अब आया असली स्वाद।
अब आया स्वाद।
जब स्वाद के पड़े हो लाले तो MDH का चंकी चाट मसाला डालें। MDH का चंकी चाट मसाला। MDH।
कार इंश्योरेंस डन।
पॉलिसी बाजार से कराया?
नहीं।
तो तू ज़ीब्रा नहीं हो सकता।
मतलब?
अगर पॉलिसी बाजार से कार इंश्योरेंस कंपेयर करके लेता तो 12,000 रुपए तक बचा सकता था। इसलिए तू ज़ीब्रा तो नहीं है, तू है
गधा।
काइंड ऑफ।
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
MDH।
Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. United States President Donald Trump has said he will decide within the next 10 days whether the United States reaches a nuclear agreement with Iran or moves towards military action. Speaking in Washington, Trump warned if a meaningful deal is not achieved, bad things will happen, making it clear the US will never allow Tehran to obtain a nuclear weapon. The pressure is already escalating. Iran's Revolutionary Guard has temporarily shut down the Strait of Hormuz for live-fire drills, a bold show of force along a corridor that carries roughly 1/5 of the world's oil supply. Markets are reacting with crude prices climbing as fears of disruption grow. Behind the scenes, high-stakes talks continue in Geneva. But Vice President J.D. Vance says Iran is yet to accept key American red lines on uranium enrichment and regional proxy activity. Meanwhile, the Pentagon is mounting its most significant regional buildup in decades, deploying 2 carrier strike groups, including the USS Gerald R. Ford, along with advanced fighter jets and strategic bombers. Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei is warning of decisive retaliation if the United States strikes. The clock is then ticking. 10 days to diplomacy or the risk of a conflict that could ignite the region and shake the global economy. Joining us live is Ambassador Pradeep Kapoor, former diplomat. We also have Major General Rajan Kochar, defense expert, live with us. Shruti Das Gupta, foreign affairs expert, joins us live. Arvind Singh Tejawat, foreign affairs expert, is also with us live in the broadcast. Let me make a start with you first, Ambassador Kapoor, on what you make of this big development, of course, between US and Iran. A statement coming in that there could be consequences, bad things could happen, is what the US president has said. What is he indicating, Ambassador Kapoor? And how soon could bad things happen, quote unquote?
Well, I guess it's absolutely on the tipping line currently, and it would be 50% of it going either way. But the way the build-up has happened, the chances of some strike happening are higher than, not higher than earlier. And I guess they have been keeping up a lot of pressure, hoping that there'll be an internal collapse of the regime or some sort of an implosion. But they were able to control all the demonstrations and protests by, killing a large number of people. Some counts say that over 7,000 killed. But Iran is also in a very sort of strategic situation vis-a-vis global supply chains, vis-a-vis oil supplies, vis-a-vis the shipping through the Straits of Hormuz, plus their threats to, attack US bases and US personnel. While they have lost a lot of strength recently through the debilitation of the Hezbollah, the Hamas, the Houthis, and their other, terrorist groups, but they still retain capacity, because if you compare the Israel and Iran equation in terms of population, Iran is much bigger. In terms of the army, it's much bigger. In terms of the space, it is much bigger. In terms of its strategic location, it is also very important. So it has certain advantages. Plus, external support for Iran is also tremendous from countries like China in particular. And then you have Russia also supporting. Then you have some of the Arab countries supporting. So when you put all that together in a mix, it is not easy for America to deal with Iran in the way that it wants to. The other aspect is the domestic compulsions in America also. In the sense, it could lead to protests on the streets against this sort of action on Iran in the US cities. It could also lead to more sort of intervention by Congress and sort of people trying to even intervene through the judicial system to stop this sort of thing happening. But with the current administration and the current president, once he makes up his mind, then he sort of finds ways to go ahead with whatever decision he takes. So I guess we would have to wait for just a matter of a day or two to see what is happening and whether it's going to unfold the way that is being expected by a large number of countries. Iran has, of course, made some conciliatory statements that they want to indulge in diplomacy and they want to continue the path of negotiations. But US is putting pressure that till you really mean business, we are not going to be believing what you're saying. Back to you, Dai.
Okay, let me take that to you, Major General Rajan Kochar, on what you make of these recent moves by Iran as well. Obviously, Iran is trying to say they're not backing down. The closure of Strait of Hormuz, the other drills that they've been doing on land and at sea, also the collaborations with Russia that has been happening as well. Clearly the posturing of Iran and this response is very clear as well and says something. What does it say according to you?
Thank you, Uday. Let me talk, I think, brass tacks, because the writing is on the wall for Iran, because it's not very far from here today, what we are discussing, that a strike is actually imminent, because whatever people may say that America is had a lot of patience so far and would not like to get into a warlike situation, which is a fact which Ambassador Kapoor also alluded to. But Donald Trump has got very few options left. Because in case there is no agreement, I don't see any agreement coming about, because you see, even though these talks are prolonged and one talk from another and to another, and positive signals are coming from Iran, saying that the talks have been constructive and we are now into communication and I think the next round and all. But what are the concessions Iran is prepared to give? Because nobody talks about that. When America is very, very clear that, okay, we will not interfere into your missile program, you carry on the way it is, because America reconciled to that. The second is the proxies also, America is reconciled to that, okay, you carry on with whatever proxies you are. But the basic thing is the nuclear aspect. And the second important hidden aspect is the oil, because nobody talks about that oil part. Because that oil part is troubling Trump more than the nuclear part, let me tell you that. So coming to the nuclear aspects, US wants 20% uranium enrichment and below, because that is what would dictate a peaceful process for a peace energy process. And anything beyond 60%, you are going to the realm of making a nuclear bomb. It could be a tactical nuclear weapon, or it could be a proper nuclear weapon. So what I actually visualize as of now is that why Donald Trump is saying 10 days, you know, he's coming out with specific time periods, because I think his patience is running out. And there is a tremendous pressure, because being a military man, I can understand if an army of the kind American army is, if you tell that army to be on standby for 1 month, for 45 days, there is an unrest in the minds of the soldier also, because they don't know what is the political aim, because from a political aim will flow the military aim. So once you have defined the political aim, then you must launch the strike. Why the wait is taking place? Because Trump knows that even after carrying out this strike, the objective is not going to be achieved. Because objective is a halt to the nuclear program. Even after you launch the strike on a civilization state like Iran, you can't compare it with the Iraq war. Because Iraq, the dynamics were different. Here, Iran dynamics are different. And you have already made an announcement that I will not have boots on ground. So if you don't have boots on ground, there cannot be any regime change. So the objective is actually lost, because the main objective of America is a regime change, which I think is not going to happen. Even if you launch a strike, you may destroy command control post, or you may kill 100 of their soldiers. After that, what? The Iranian force remains intact, maybe degraded by some 30%, 40%, but the objective is not achieved. So that's why Trump is reluctant to start this campaign of war, because once you start this war, you and me sitting here will never be able to predict that when this will end. It can be 10 days, it can be 20 days, it can be 30 days, it can be months. And what will be the impact on the supply chain in the world, which Ambassador Kapoor also mentioned? Because the Strait of Hormuz, 20% of oil is flowing from here, and it is going to impact America also, because this oil goes to America also. So all this supply chain factor is also there. So I would like to conclude, Uday, by saying that 10 days, what Trump has actually mentioned, we need to watch that period, because last time in the 12-day war, Trump did not wait for the talks to finish also. He had launched the attack even when Iran and the US were talking to each other. So don't be surprised that if Trump does not wait for 10 days and on the 7th day he launches the strike. Thank you, Uday.
Okay, let me take that to you as well, Shruti Dasgupta, because the deadline, of course, is nearing. The US President has been reiterating it, the Vice President has been reiterating it, so have the other top US officials. As we get closer and closer to the deadline, what is brewing, Shruti Dasgupta? What can be inferred from the various statements we've heard from all quarters in the last 24 hours?
Well, let's look at what they did first. Iran went to UN and asked for protection because as a UN is a peacekeeping organization, it should have been the first to react to any kind of military pressure on one nation to the other. But instead of coming out and trying to mitigate in this particular problem, the reaction from UN was asking about what happened to, now I don't think this would be the true figure, but the figures that are out, 36,000 to 40,000 people that were impacted by either by killing or imprisonment during the protests that have happened. So they're asking human rights questions there. Then the UNICEF has asked Iran to come out and release all the children that were detained during those protests. So these particular statements coming out from UN shows that there can be no succor that could be had from neutral organizations in the UN, like the UN, for Iran. It also shows that most of the world's power brokers are in favor of whatever action US is going to take. They are going to side with USA, even if they choose to do a limited military strike on Iran, which is where this is supposed to be headed. Not a full-out war, although the prep looks like a full-out war that could lead to multi-day level of wars. But right now, the expectation is of a limited shock and awe level of exercise that the US would be prepared to protect against as well as attack in. Beyond that, what has Norway done? Norway has pulled out all their, has relocated their military personnel. Germany has pulled out people who were not in critical positions there. When these powers start moving out of the Middle East, you can see that they also feel that the negotiations are on shaky grounds and war is imminent, whether we believe it or not. Iran would like to say that, I believe their foreign minister has come out and said that within 2 to 3 days I will be presenting a proposal. The nuclear deal proposal is ready. It only needs a go-to from my superiors and then I can present it to the US negotiating team there. So he said 2 to 3 days. That does show that they understand the gravity of what Trump, the 10-day ultimatum hit by Trump, because they understand that he made, the last time he gave a timeline was in Venezuela, and he hit Venezuela in a shock and awe fashion again. So they understand that he may not all be just a hot ball of gas. He has the intent, if he chooses to go in for a military confrontation. So they understand all these things, and that is why this particular action has come out. But an Iranian lawmaker has made a statement which puts me on the back foot. They have said that the negotiating team, if they are able to delay war, they are doing a superb job. This particular statement can mean two things, that if they can delay war and negotiate, or delay war till Iran is also in a better capability to react to any military aggression that US tends to pose to Iran currently. So this statement has elements of Iranian aggression hidden within it, and for me it is an indication that Iran is also pretty much aware that this may not end at the negotiating table, and there will be some sort of gunfire, some sort of exchange of military might happening, because such a huge build-up, if Trump withdraws it, it is going to weaken his geopolitical position as a person without actually having to, it's a very expensive war for Trump without having fired a single bullet. Just the presence of those two armadas there is extremely expensive for USA. So without actually getting the muscle flex moment like it did in Venezuela attacks, without that he would not be able to justify it to his voters. They would certainly feel cheated. Why did he need to do this if he was going to bend at the negotiating table? So
let me get in Arvind Singh Tejawat as well. Arvind Singh Tejawat, the limited military strike, sanctions, all-out conflict, what are we staring at perhaps in the next 48 to 72 hours?
I suppose that what the Kocher Saab, my previous speaker, said, that it's not the nuclear reactors, it's the oil that the United States is doing all the things and making a complete game plan. So I suppose it's not a reactors. And what exactly the United States logic? The United States is saying that he's willing to means bombardment on Iran because the United States is having a fear that maybe in coming future, the Iran by its atomic weapons willing to kill our people. So that's why they are willing to kill the Iranians in advance. So I think it's not justified at all. And so in that way, actually, they are just willing to be a superpower all along. So that's the only reason I suppose that the United States is willing to bombardment on Iran. But once they'll come on a ground, I suppose it will be very difficult and tough situations for them to handle all the things. So I think that's why even the United States and the policymakers are afraid of it. And at the same time, the Iran is willing to buy a time. Uday Sahab, over to you.
But why is a deal, Ambassador Kapoor, in your opinion, not been struck as yet? What has been preventing a deal despite, beg your pardon, negotiations happening at neutral venues and of course between neutral mediators? Why has a deal not been able to be struck between the two?
Sorry, thank you. Iran is not an easy country to negotiate with, and they can sort of drag on the negotiations, as we have seen earlier. So Trump is trying to put sort of immense pressure, which will finally make them, crack up. Either they'll sign the deal and then have to give up nuclear weapons in a verifiable manner, or they will keep on dragging and then they'll be attacked. So from the Indian perspective, we have to look at it, Uday. At the UN, the voting pattern on resolutions on Kashmir, for example, Iran has never voted in favor of India. Now, OIC countries also, Iran sort of goes against Indian interest. So it's not that India is going to stick its neck out in any way to safeguard Iran's interest in this case. India will take a neutral stance, but Iran has capacities. For example, we have seen that the Shahid drones, which they have been supplying to Russia, those sort of technological capacities are there, the enrichment capacities are there, the missile capacities are there, and the financial strength was there earlier in terms of supporting all sorts of terrorist organizations and other organizations which were working like their proxies. Those have been degraded to a great extent, but they can never be eliminated altogether. So for them to arise again is a direct threat also. So for American, in balance, if America is to take a strategic sort of, analysis, then I think with Israel and America, it works probably far better for them to have a regime change or a strike on Iran to further debilitate them and put back the nuclear program in whatever way they can. And by trying to negotiate, they may not achieve the same sort of outcomes.
Yes. Yes. And is that why then, Major General Kocher, you believe there is going to be no middle path found apart from, of course, US action, which of course looks imminent? Could that be prevented in any fashion or not?
Uday, I think Russia and China are trying to put pressure on US not to go for it. And also, you see these Muslim countries in the Gulf also, because Qatar has Al Udeid Air Base, it's the American Central Command's primary air operation hub. So it's going to get targeted. So Qatar is not interested, that should be a war. Bahrain is the next one where it is the home to the US Fifth Fleet. So they are not interested. UAE again has got US assets there, and you see all these missiles and all. You may stop 10, 20, 30, but a few missiles will always go through. So there is a problem here, and Iraq and Syria also. Iran has got its own assets there, which can also get activated, and the US has got its vulnerabilities in both these areas where the air bases and their own military assets are actually positioned there. So it is we have to look at these things not from only Iran, because the spread of the US assets in this area also dictate a vulnerability for the United States, and that is why, in spite of everybody, I mean, some people on your channel also I saw, they actually predicted that ये 24 घंटे में attack हो जाएगा, 48 घंटे में. It's not, it's not so easy, because US is very, very concerned of the outcomes, because there is a primary happening in November in the United States. And today the Supreme Court has struck down the global tariffs of Trump. So this adds to another pressure on Trump on the domestic front. So again, this is also going to affect his decision in striking Iran, because anything which is happening in America within the domestic politics of America is going to dictate what Trump is going to do outside, because whatever he does outside is going to affect the domestic politics in America, and a lot of things are. He has, unfortunately, Uday, he has opened too many fronts. I would say that he opened Greenland. Now he has to go back on Greenland. Venezuela, I am given to understand that none of the US oil companies want to go there. So okay, that Venezuela operation is slowly becoming a non-starter.
All right.
Immigration he's not been able to control in the US, and on top of it, Iran, and on top of it, Ukraine also happening, and the Russian war, and the Russians are not listening to Donald Trump.
Yes.
So I think he is in a very, very tight situation.
All right.
And this is one of the reasons he's.
Yes, Shruti Dasgupta, do you believe then it could be a limited strike at least for the optics?
It is going to be. The world cannot afford to have a long time war like we are seeing in Ukraine, which is running into its 4th year now, has completed almost its 4th year now, and is into its 5th year. So we cannot afford to have another front which is going to have months and months of war-like situation, because as my esteemed co-panelists have stated, the world's oil supply depends on a short, simple solution to the problem US and Iran find themselves in. They need to resolve it one way or the other, whether at the diplomatic table or across borders with missiles targeting each other. It has to be short, sweet, and fast. And whichever faction wins, the oil supply should not be disrupted. It is going, as people have said it before me, it is going to impact the world economy as such. It will bring everything crashing down, and all nations are already scrambling to ensure that they have their reserves in place, so that in case a war happens for the next 3-4 days, they would be able to at least keep their countries functioning as normal. So these are a few things that will ensure that the war will be limited, short duration, as well as very precise, because America, if it does decide to go into this as military action as we're all predicting it would need to have precise action on exact locations which would defang Iran completely.
Okay.
Because if they allow any sort of leeway for Iran to react, it will be very deadly for them.
All right, I'm afraid we've run out of time. Appreciate you joining us, all our guests on the broadcast. Now, the Dow Jones, NASDAQ and S&P 500 quickly risen after the Supreme Court ruled that President Trump's Liberation Day tariffs are illegal. The S&P 500 and the Dow Jones Industrial Average have both moved up 0.4% on Friday. The NASDAQ Composite rose 0.6%. This comes after the three averages had opened the day's session in the red. Dr. Sharat Kohli, economist, joins us on the broadcast. Dr. Kohli, how do you react to the markets? What the markets are saying about the Supreme Court ruling against tariffs?
Well, it's a big development today for the stock markets. The stock markets have been reacting very negatively ever since the reciprocal tariffs were levied from 2nd of April 2025. I think it's a huge relief for the market because this was impacting the American companies' costs, the cost of imports, the cost of raw materials, the cost of packaging, just about everything had gone up. And I think that had resulted in pressure on stock markets. Although having said that, I would say that the markets had recovered. So I think we need to wait for the entire day in America to be complete. They just about started the day and we had the Supreme Court judgment, but a very, very critical judgment, I must say. And I'm sure this happiness of stock markets may not last for too long because there is the Iran news, which is probably going to come. I think there may be an attempt to divert the attention of people by attacking Iran. And I'm also told that Section 232 is going to be explored where he wants to levy tariff under some other section, that is Section 232 on the unfair trade practices, or some other clause, I'm sure, because it's a question of his prestige now. $175 billion of tariff collected so far, according to the judgment, needs to be returned to the importers. So I think the stock market will like to wait for a while before celebrating, knowing President Trump, he's not going to give up that easily, Uday.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Dr. Kohli, with your perspective. On that note, a quick break.
लाल रंग इसका अपार, तीखा कम है फिर भी स्वाद, बेमिसाल बेमिसाल MDH कश्मीरी,
MDH कश्मीरी,
MDH।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर। MDH गरम मसाला, असली मसालों से भरा हूँ मैं,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
सस्ते वाले दाल मसाले स्वाद हुआ बेकार, MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे ये खुशबू दे ये तीखा ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
कार इंश्योरेंस डन।
पॉलिसी बाजार से कराया?
नहीं।
तो तू जिब्रा नहीं हो सकता। कार नई हो या पुरानी, पॉलिसी बाजार पे कंपेयर करके खरीदो और 30,000 तक बचाओ। इसलिए तू जिब्रा तो नहीं है, तू है
गधा।
काइंड ऑफ।
दिल्ली सपनों का शहर, जहां मेहनत कभी नहीं रुकती, लेकिन मेहनत के बीच 2 वक्त का भरपेट और सम्मानजनक भोजन हर किसी का हक है। इस सोच के साथ प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी के कुशल नेतृत्व में दिल्ली की रेखा गुप्ता सरकार लेकर आई है 100 करोड़ रुपए की बजट के साथ अटल कैंटीन। सिर्फ 5 रुपए में पौष्टिक, स्वच्छ और भरपेट भोजन।
किसी के स्वाभिमान को ठेस न आए कि मैं फ्री में कुछ भोजन खा रहा हूँ, वो 5 रुपए दे के भी भोजन खाएगा तो सम्मान के साथ खाएगा।
गरीब भाई बेचारा खाना खा के चैन से सो जाता है रात को, और सुबह उसको पता है कि मुझे टाइम पे खाना मिलेगा।
अटल कैंटीन, सम्मान के साथ सस्ता और सेहतमंद भोजन।
जो भी पके ऐसा पके, जहाँ भी हो जो खींचा चलाए, मीठी दिल हो या पुलियोगरे, वांगी भात हो या पोड़ी मसाला, रस पाउडर या सांभर मसाला, असली मसाले सच सच MDH MDH।
MDH कसूरी मेथी लाजवाब है, लाजवाब है,
स्वाद और सुगंध इसकी
लाजवाब है, लाजवाब है।
अगर MDH कसूरी मेथी नहीं डाला तो खाली हाथ मलते रह जाओगे।
एक एक पत्ता हाथ से चुना, स्वाद और सुगंध जगाए कई गुना।
MDH का किचन किंग किचन में हो तो हम सब कुछ बना सकते हैं। बैंगन का भरता, आलू गोभी, भिंडी मसाला और भी बहुत कुछ।
MDH
Welcome back. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on NewsX. Our big focus this hour, the spotlight at the India AI Summit held at Bharat Mandapam shifted briefly from technology to controversy as Youth Congress workers staged a protest outside the venue. With global leaders and top technology CEOs in attendance, the protest has sparked sharp political reactions, with the BJP accusing the Congress of lowering the dignity of an international event. The Congress, on the other hand, maintains that raising issues of concern is part of democratic expression. The optics, however, have dominated headlines, with questions being raised about whether such theatrics were appropriate at a high-profile global forum. The protests, allegedly carried out by members of the Youth Congress, targeted PM Modi over the proposed India-US trade deal. Rahul Gandhi had opposed the deal during the recent budget session, alleging it was signed under Trump's pressure. Well, Rahul Gandhi had, of course, said the PM is compromised outside Parliament. That's the slogan that these Youth Congress workers took in their AI summit protest. Let's take a look at the visuals. Joining us live, Professor Madhav Nalapath, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian. Himanshu Bhatt, senior journalist, also joins us live. Mukesh Tyagi, BJP spokesperson, is joining us on the broadcast. Abbas Hafiz, Congress spokesperson, is also with us live. Abbas Hafiz, let me begin with you first. What was the objective of this protest by your party's youth wing, and was it officially given a go-ahead?
This is a Youth Congress protest, which was been done by the Youth Congress members, and they are very much our own cadre. The issue is they have already given their own statements. The Youth Congress president has given a statement on this whole issue, that when you are being stopped from protesting from on anything, anywhere, if you go on the roads, no one is allowing you, giving you permissions to go on road also these days. No one is allowing you. The government is calling down all the social media posts also. And when it comes to the farmers of India, and the Youth Congress has not been against AI summit or anything. Rather, they were raising their own voices at a platform where things can be seen or things can be heard to this government, which is turning a blind eye and an attitude which no other government has ever shown. But this whole the whole protest has been a democratic process, and
but you are saying, Mr. Abbas Hafiz, that you have no objection to the AI summit. Why then would your workers try and disrupt the summit? They went in the middle of Bharat Mandapam, took off their shirts, and some of them were in their vests, some of them were without vests, and were shouting, sloganeering in front of international delegates over there, in front of course, the media, in front of the attendees over there in the event. They were shouting at the top of their lungs. So isn't that a disruption of the AI summit and a lack of decorum as well?
Finally, the AI summit is right now discussed when it has been in chaos for the last 2-3 days since it has been launched or it has been started. What has been done by the organizer and the ruling party over there.
But if it has been in chaos, then you can but if it's been in chaos, does that mean
what allegations have been made against the
if it's been in chaos according to you, does that mean that you should add to the chaos?
The founders over there.
If it has been in chaos according to you, Abbas Hafiz, does that mean you add to the chaos? You try and disrupt it as well? Instead of offering solutions, does that mean you go to the venue and try and disrupt it completely? If you believe there is chaos, then shouldn't you be helping end the chaos, or should you be trying to add to the chaos?
Humiliated over that, the whole episode, but you feel humiliated by the Youth Congress protest, which has been done for the farmers, for the people who are the main subjects of this nation. But still, nobody is ready among you to question this government.
Professor Nalapath, come in here. Professor Nalapath, come in here. Should there be certain events and forums? Should there be certain events and forums which should be supported, in a bipartisan manner? Is this kind of protest which happens in the midst of the AI summit legitimate according to you, where the individuals, of course, took off their shirts, took off their clothes and shouted slogans in the middle of Bharat Mandapam? Professor Nalapath, is this appropriate according to you?
If you want to prove your
Abbas Hafiz, I'll come back to you. Abbas Hafiz, I'll come back to you. Let's allow everyone. Let's allow the others to say. Let's allow the others to say. Professor Nalapath, please go ahead.
Wrong over here, and you want to school me, then I can't help you out. What I'm saying,
Professor Nalapath, Abbas Hafiz, we've heard you out. We've heard you out now, please. We've heard you out. We need to get in the others as well. Please mute Abbas Hafiz. Please mute Abbas Hafiz. I normally don't like to mute my panelists, but he's carrying on and not letting the others speak. Professor Nalapath, go ahead.
This has been discussed. This is ongoing.
Professor Madhav Nalapat, did you hear my question?
No, it wasn't a question. Rather, you were schooling me.
No, Abbas Hafiz, I am not asking you that question. Your time is over. Your time is over. I need to get in the others as well. Professor Nalapat, please come in here. Professor Nalapat, please come in here. Is this a legitimate form of protest according to you? And shouldn't certain venues be off limits for protest, political protest? Should certain events be supported in a bipartisan manner? Professor Nalapat. Abbas Hafiz, your name is not Madhav Nalapat, I think. Professor Nalapat.
Yeah, quite frankly, I'd like to say that at least it shows one thing, which is that democracy is alive and well in India. There's no question about that. And as for this shirtless demonstration, I would bet, very safely, that none of the people who were shirtless on that occasion, poor chaps, they must have got a cold by now. None of them would have been ordinarily shirtless. In fact, they would have been wearing very stylish shirts, and they would have, except for this so-called protest. But I just want to point out that this is one of the major AI summits in the world, and India is hosting it. And except for, Bill Gates, who because of the Epstein connection was not able to speak, and I think Mr. Huang, he also could not speak. The rest of the show went on quite well, like clockwork. And AI is a very important thing for India. You remember in the past, people were opposed to color television, but then Finance Minister Pranab Mukherjee said, no, we should not have color in India. Then they were opposed to computers. And, look what a blessing computers have become all over the country. And now they're getting agitated about artificial intelligence. I can predict very safely, AI is going to be, you will have to change your job. You'll have to do a certain amount of changes in the way you function. But otherwise, I'm sure we people in India are quite capable of adjusting to that. We adjusted to the computer revolution. We adjusted to the internet revolution. And we'll adjust to the AI revolution as well. And that is why all the great giants of AI, whether it's Sam Altman or other people, they're all here at the summit because they know India is the future and young Indians are the future. And that future is bright. AI is going to become what computers have been, what the internet has been. It will be a vehicle for change, for transformative change, and definitely a vehicle for improving of economic lives and a vehicle for ensuring economic progress.
Okay. But what kind of AI, leads to individuals who want to protest, take off their clothes, Himanshu Bhatt? What kind of AI was the Youth Congress trying to perform or trying to show to the international world and community?
Yes, they were trying to show something very different. That on the hindsight, if I tell you, looking at their history of last 15 years, if such an incident would not have happened, would have surprised me. I'm sorry to state that the youth, Gen Z, they call themselves Gen Z. They are a part of it. This exhibition of brainlessness, when something about India or Bharat or Hindustan, whatever they want to call it, is taking place, and going and doing that is the same thing what their leader did 4 years ago. In UK, in London, he spoke in front of the entire Europe that please come and save our democracy. Yes, they did come. What has happened after that? In 3 years' time, EU has a trade deal with Bharat. That is what the result is. So they should have understood that. But then what happens is, when you want to say some British queen in front of a lot of British people that India is a nation of snake charmers and you come from that family patronage, this is what happens. So I'm not a bit surprised. Samit Patra was talking about something. He said topless, brainless, shameless. Why you want all this less, yaar? Why you want all this less? Let this 4 or 40 of them come in front of the world television and show people that this is what an Indian democracy is. And despite being shameless and brainless and topless and mindless, these people have a right to protest, despite not knowing where to protest. When you don't know which are the no-go zones, then this is what happens. And if a political party's culture is here, and this type of a culture they maintain, that shows that they are in the extreme frustrated mind, and they are going to lose everything what they have. I said 5 years ago that at this rate, Congress in a single state will not get more than 10 to 12% of the vote share of the total vote poll. And it's proving correct in 2 years' time. Just forget 2024. And after that, look at the elections, what's happening. And despite all this, you know, these people who were caught. See, the best part is, Uday, see, in Bharat Mandapam, they had registered. They had their barcode.
Yes.
So they were legal, they went in. And after that, they created this.
Absolutely. Abbas Hafiz, you've heard out. Abbas Hafiz, you've heard out what the neutral guests on the broadcast have to say. You know, these are senior journalists. These are observers of political events and international events. And, you know, you're hearing what they have to say on your youth Congress's behavior. So, do you believe that this protest in hindsight then should have been avoided? Will your party apologize for what has happened? Do you believe it shouldn't have happened?
Don't you think this government should apologize for this mismanagement of the whole event, where the participants are constantly raising their own issues, who have paid for the stalls, denied entry because of the Prime Minister's protocol, the founders who are participating made to walk for 3 or 4 kilometers. They are raising their concerns, they are raising their complaints across the globe. You have no concern about that, but you are concerned.
No, we'll take that to Mukesh Tyagi of the BJP in just a second, what you're saying. But what about your youth Congress protest? You don't want to, say anything on that? You don't believe that was wrong?
I've already said.
No, you don't believe it was wrong?
I've already said, see,
could the manner have been better in your opinion? Country. In hindsight, could it have been handled better?
If you constantly want to interrupt, go on.
I'm asking you in hindsight, could it have been better? Could it have been done better? In hindsight, could it have been done better?
I'm not ready to listen to any of my answer. I don't want to speak then. You go on. You go ahead.
No, in hindsight, could it have been better?
That's the problem. You people are not showing what the problems are. So we are forced to do our protest where people can see. You are not ready to listen to us.
Okay, so it was
are not your concern.
It was a publicity stunt, is what you're saying. It was a publicity stunt, is what you're saying. You had to do something to get attention. You had to do something to get attention, which is why you done this.
You are a journalist. You need to question. You have no right to school me.
I will go to Mukesh Tyagi on the issues. On the issues that you've raised, I will go to Mukesh Tyagi, Abbas Hafiz. But what I'm asking you is that
you don't want to listen to my
what I'm asking you is, do you believe in hindsight it could have been handled better? It could have been handled better.
Listen to me. You are not giving any space to the opposition. The government is not ready to give any permission.
Mr. Hafiz, we came to you first.
The government is turning blind. Prime Minister is compromised.
We came to you first. We came to you first on the discussion, and you are saying opposition has no space. Anyways, I'll come back to you. Mukesh Tyagi of the BJP, come in here. Mukesh Tyagi of the BJP, you've heard him out. He believes that nothing wrong happened. They had to do this to bring attention to what they believe was wrong at the AI summit. How do you view the Youth Congress's protest and the Congress Party's defense of it?
Uday, at the outset, I would request Congress spokesperson not to intervene while I'm talking. You see, it's a last nail in the coffin of Congress. And कहते हैं विपरीत बुद्धि विनाश काले. I think this protest has literally stripped Congress of its true culture. Thank God, Uday, they are not stripping in your show as a protest. No, if stripping is the only means of protesting and raising the national issues, I think it's an absolute intellectual bankruptcy on part of the Congress. Number one, I want to say one thing. Rahul Gandhi goes to different parts of the world and says the Indian democracy is in danger. Come and intervene. Here, they are protesting, stripping their shirt in such a high sensitive artificial intelligence conference in front of such a huge conglomeration of tech heads, heads of states. I mean, we are part of this Pax Silica where India is marching ahead to become the developed country by 2047. That's the vision of Prime Minister Modi. He may not be Prime Minister. And on the contrary, they're suffering from this, dragging Prime Minister back, regressive policies. So you are getting full chance to blow out all your ventilated issues, and then you go and complain that we don't have a democracy. I mean, this is the classic catch-22 situation for Rahul Gandhi. He's protesting. He's sending people surreptitiously.
Okay. No, but what
clandestinely.
he's saying basically is that they had to do this because you are not listening to them. They had to do
We
this
are
because they want to raise what is wrong with the AI summit, and they had no choice.
Uday, you pick up the record of all the parliamentary debates where they had the fairly good amount of place to speak out. They come out with some frivolous issues. Rafale, they fell down. They did not prove one point which can go against the government. Not even a single scam has been proved. But look at the monsoon session. They washed out completely on General Narvane's book. What has happened? General Narvane's disowned Rahul Gandhi. He's made some frivolous allegations. Both Priyanka and Rahul Gandhi have been blackened on their face by General Narvane. He was not talking initially. He brought out some unpublished book and trying to raise and wash out the monsoon. So he gets an opportunity to speak. But you will only be able to speak when you open the legitimate issues in the parliament. You cannot be regressive. You cannot be behaving like a balkanizing
Abbas
element.
Hafiz, your response.
So this culture is so dangerous. As a matter of fact, he
Abbas
has no
Hafiz, your
business to remain leader of opposition.
See, if we talk about the scams being done by this government, and one can't prove or one can prove, the agencies needs to prove, and everyone knows the conditions right now. So I don't want to comment on it, but the whole issue is what I'm saying constantly. This government has failed an event and then putting the whole issue on the Youth Congress workers, because the issues are being raised by constantly being raised by the participants who are filing the complaints, who are saying what shouldn't be said in the public domain. Nobody is ready to discuss this, and he hasn't answered it. Rather, what my questions were, that the whole issue has been a chaotic issue.
Mukesh.
The whole event has been a chaotic issue.
Mukesh.
And it has been in chaos. The whole point is, but let me complete.
No,
guys.
no.
Let me complete.
No, no,
10 seconds. Let me complete. The
you
whole
are treating
point is,
you are treating on a very dangerous path.
Why don't you answer the whole protest question?
You are
The
legitimizing
whole
criminal
issue is
action.
about
You
the
are
farmers,
legitimizing
the
criminal
Indian
action by your
Why have
Congress
you made the
hooligans.
Indian farmers
Congress
compromise?
hooligans. You are legitimizing their most irresponsible conduct. They have no business to behave like this. Strip themselves. They could have stripped their trousers also. You can also
You are
do it
stripping
tomorrow.
the Indian farmers.
It's my
You are
peaceful
stripping
protest.
the Indian farmers. You have already stripped the Indian farmers with this trade deal. Why were you forced to do this trade deal, which is the biggest problem in Indian farmers?
You have been talking from the rooftop
You won't
about
respond
all
to
these
that.
issues for
You
a
are
long
more
time.
concerned
People
about
don't buy your
youth Congress
argument.
stripping,
You
but
lose
not
elections
about
consecutively.
farmers stripping.
You have lost legitimacy. People are rejecting you left, right, center, and that's the reason your
Will you
frustration
answer
is to
about the
different
trade
levels.
deal?
You
answer
are
about the
written
whole
off
trade
in a
deal?
democracy.
You
You are
give any
written off in a
answer about the
democracy.
plight of Indian
You are a
farmers?
spent force in the
Why are
Indian
they
democracy.
why are they
You have
being-
lost out credibility.
why are they
Rahul
being
Gandhi, I
compromised?
think if
The
you do
private-
the credibility index,
Why-
Rahul Gandhi
why-
will have the lowest credibility index.
You won't-
He
you
makes
won't reply to the
irresponsible
allegation.
statement. And he is
That's the
misleading
whole
the country.
Okay.
He is misleading the
Whole point, you won't reply
youth.
to the allegation.
Look at the youth. Moral.
The allegation should be.
I mean, he's
honored,
hijacking.
but you will be
He's
talking about the stripping.
He's hijacking such a big international
Professor
event. He's
Nalapat,
hijacking.
Professor Nalapat,
And
Professor
what nonsense
Nalapat.
is going on with the Congress? Are
Professor
they out of their
Nalapat.
mind or they've gone insane?
What about the stripping of Indian farmers by
Professor
your own
Nalapat,
government?
should there be?
They've done this trade deal with the US.
Professor
where the Indian
Nalapat,
farmers are going to
you know,
What is wrong with the
should
what
there
is
be
wrong with the India-US dream? Tell me one
why
thing, what is wrong
don't
with
we?
that?
Okay, I'll come back to you both. I'll come back to you both, Mukesh and Abbas. I'll come back to you both.
No, I want to discuss it. What
Let's
is wrong
allow
with
the
the
others to
India-US
come back
deal?
in. Why don't we see, Madhav Nalapat, in our country bipartisan support for certain issues and events? We hosted the G20. It was a mega success. Now we're hosting the AI summit. Should certain issues be off politics? Should certain issues get bipartisan support in parliament and outside, or is that too much to ask for?
Yeah, Uday, I want to make a point. I have been scanning the international newspaper and other media outlet headlines, and these days podcasts are important. The world of this social media is important, and I've been trying to scan through that. And frankly, hardly anyone is talking about the shirtless demonstration that we saw. They're all talking about the fact that the global giants of AI are now meeting in India, and now India has become, in a sense, an important AI center in the whole world. I'm very certain in the times to come there are going to be a lot of AI development centers located in India, and many hundreds of thousands of young people are going to be trained and are going to find jobs all over the world. I don't think we should confine ourselves only to our own country, all over the world. So that is what the headlines have been saying, that India has arrived in the world of AI. And whether it is Sam Altman, whether it is other people, all the giants of AI are here. They would not come to waste their time unless they saw India is important, the Indian people is important, and that is what they feel. And therefore, I feel proud as an Indian to witness this giant AI summit.
Abbas,
I'm very proud, and I feel very optimistic about the future of my country, because I know that the young people of this country will take this country forward no matter what the problem, what the obstacle. And I do wish political parties would focus on solving issues rather than just saying, oh, this is bad, this is bad.
Yes.
All right,
No, you absolutely. Abbas, I mean, you are raising the issues on the show today. Your spokesperson are raising it in their press conference as well. Your leaders have been putting out tweets. Those are all ways, genuine ways to raise issues. But by doing it in the manner that you did today, or your youth congress did today, was this a publicity stunt? Will you admit that? Was this a publicity stunt? Is that why it happened?
Why would I admit something which is not there, which is not true? What youth congress workers have done, they have already clarified on the whole issue. The BJP government is stripping the farmers by doing this trade deal, where there will be cheaper products from the US and their farmers and all such things. I don't want to go in detail for the whole issue.
You don't have a sense of economics, by the way. You don't have a sense of economics.
You should answer about the
No. We can have one-to-one discussion.
You should answer.
I'm answering you. I'm answering you. I'm answering now in one line.
If you have answered it properly, the youth congress workers wouldn't have gone there.
I'm answering you in one line. I'm answering in one line. What is the cost? What is the cost of one mineral bottle in India?
You are compromised.
You have no idea about the cost differential.
You are forced to do the
trade. Do you have any idea about the cost differential between US and India?
This is the whole issue. You can explain anything.
You
people are the same people who have told the Indian...
your only mission in life is to demonetization.
So you don't have any right to say anything about the economy.
You are demoralizing armed forces. You are demoralizing armed forces all the time. Is it a good thing?
Which no one can even expect it. And then you have said, no, it has been a mistake.
I mean, the whole world is
you
have
praised GST's initial slabs, and then you have taken a U-turn.
These are...
Please don't try to...
Himanshu Bhatt.
The whole point is what...
Can I come in?
Himanshu Bhatt, the issues. Himanshu Bhatt, the issues on General Narwane's book. Himanshu Bhatt, the issues on General Narwane's book and the US trade deal that the Congress party is now repeatedly, they are now repeatedly raising it. They raised it inside Parliament and they want to now raise it outside as well. They believe that these are important issues. What kind of traction do you believe the Congress will get based on these issues in the upcoming elections in Assam, West Bengal, Puducherry, Tamil Nadu?
Yeah, they are important issues. I don't say no. US trade deal. What is US trade deal? Very clearly it has been said that the framework is set up. The deal is not finalized as yet. Let's be very, very clear about it. Congress has been talking, our farmers are going to suffer. What are we talking about? It's just a framework we are talking about.
Yes.
And in that, how can a farmer suffer? You want to mislead? Fine, you can do it once. Probably in 2024 in certain parts of the country, they were able to do it. But that does not mean that you will be able to fool the farmers again. Why is it that Farmer 3.0 is not coming up? I have a simple question as a simple citizen of this country.
Okay.
When we are talking in terms of, AI summit, I want people to understand one thing. It was the same Sam Altman who in 2023 said that India cannot do it.
Okay. Okay. I'm out of time. 30 seconds. 30 seconds, Himanshu. 30 seconds, Mukesh Tyagi.
Said what he said yesterday.
No, Himanshu, that's an important point you've raised. As you're saying, these were skeptics, but now India has proven them all wrong through hosting this summit, of course, successfully, and we hope that there will be mega deals that come off it as well. Mukesh Tyagi, 30 seconds to you.
You see, $15 billion investment. We are going to be leader in the semiconductor. Look at the conference, the magnitude and the scale of this conference. What Congress is doing, playing such a destructive and dangerous politics to ruin the image of the country in front of such a huge delegation. I think they are urban nexus. They're worse than any terrorist organization right now working against India.
Yes.
If I may just have a last word.
Yes, Professor Nalapaz. Okay, I think we've lost Abbas Hafiz there. Yes, Professor Nalapaz, the last word to you.
Yeah, I just want to say that the fact of the matter, whether it's the internet, whether it's AI, frankly, wise governments do not try to control it. They try and facilitate it. I hope that is what is happening in this country with this gigantic AI exhibition, because the internet or artificial intelligence, you cannot control it.
Okay.
You can only, facilitate so that it goes in a manner which is best serving the interests of the country.
Absolutely.
And I'm optimistic that is going to take place in India.
Absolutely.
Under Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
All right, let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us. We've run out of time. Let's dip into a short break.
कसूरी मेथी लाजवाब है स्वाद और सुगंध इसकी लाजवाब है
अगर MDH कसूरी मेथी नहीं डाला तो खाली हाथ मलते रह जाओगे।
एक एक पत्ता हाथ से चुना, स्वाद और सुगंध जगाए कई गुना।
कार इंश्योरेंस डन। पॉलिसी बाजार से कराया? नहीं। तो तू ज़ीब्रा नहीं हो सकता। मतलब? अगर पॉलिसी बाजार से कार इंश्योरेंस कंपेयर करके लेता तो 12,000 रुपए तक बचा सकता था। इसलिए तू ज़ीब्रा तो नहीं है, तू है गधा। काइंड ऑफ।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर। MDH गरम मसाला, असली मसालों से भरा हूँ मैं,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
जो भी पके ऐसा पके, जहाँ भी हो जो खींचा चलाए, मीठी दिल हो या पुलियो गिरे, वांगी भात हो या पोड़ी मसाला, रस पाउडर या सांभर मसाला, असली मसाले सच सच MDH।
कार इंश्योरेंस डन। पॉलिसी बाजार से कराया? नहीं। तो तू ज़ीब्रा नहीं हो सकता। कार नई हो या पुरानी, पॉलिसी बाजार पे कंपेयर करके खरीदो और 30,000 तक बचाओ। इसलिए तू ज़ीब्रा तो नहीं है, तू है गधा। काइंड ऑफ।
Hello and welcome to the NewsX Sunday Guardian Roundtable. Well, this week we're going to be taking a look at the state assembly elections in Tamil Nadu. The election campaigning has begun, and so has all the posturing. We've seen the Congress and the DMK still trying to figure out their alliance. Congress is flirting with the TVK, which is the newly launched party by actor turned politician Vijay. Is the Congress doing this just for a bargaining ploy, or does it actually feel that there is an anti-incumbency against DMK? It should distance itself from it. And also the Congress has raised a demand that they want this time power sharing. They want a ministerial berth from the DMK, which the DMK is very adamant and saying no. No other person than the Chief Minister, M.K. Stalin, has actually said this on record. So is this a make or break situation for the Congress? The Congress and the DMK are having a meeting on the 28th, but before that, will we see an alliance with the TVK? And more importantly, what are the surveys on the ground saying? For that, I have with me Amitabh Tiwari, whose Vote 5 India has already taken off. We've done a couple of sessions with him. So he's been on the track for, I think, nearly a month now or more, maybe perhaps. So Amitabh will tell us. He's also the founder of the Ascendia and a political strategist and analyst. I have with me Sumant Raman. He is, of course, a political analyst and a very, well-known voice from Tamil Nadu. He's actually one who's been telling us a lot of what is happening on the ground. Last elections, he was right, and this elections also. Let's see his podcast. And Mr. Paneer Selvan, again, somebody who we interacted with in the last election as well, who was also right in predicting the DMK win. He is the Director General at the Chennai Institute of Journalism, and he was formerly the readers editor at the Hindu. Amitabh, let's begin with you first. If you can just give us a inkling into your findings, and then I will get others on it.
Yeah, so essentially the round one findings, which was released on 3rd of February, show that there is good amount of anti-incumbency. So the people who are, or respondents who are saying that there is anti-incumbency or they are not satisfied with the government performance is higher than people who are saying that there is pro-incumbency or they are satisfied with the government. That's number one. And around 14-15% people are saying that the government performance has been average. The number two finding on CM ratings is that Stalin leads the race, followed by EPS and then by actor Vijay. It's around 33% for Stalin, 30 for EPS, and around 23% for Vijay.
So 33 and 30, is that a big gap according to you, or is it?
Largely a margin of error gap. Largely a margin of error gap. Plus minus 3% is usually the margin of error in any of the surveys. And then when we talk about issues, surprisingly here unemployment emerges as the fourth issue. The top three issues are alcoholism, drug and drug abuse, women's safety, corruption, law and order, and unemployment. So these are the top 5 issues in that sense. Who is TVK damaging most? Because that's one of the hot topics being discussed on the ground. There we found that around 35% people are saying that it is damaging DMK more, and around 19 to 20% saying that it is damaging AIADMK. So the majority or the maximum of the respondents feel that TVK's entry is likely to damage DMK because of overlapping or similar vote banks. When we asked what will be the impact of TMK Vijay, while 18% believe that he could form the government, 8% believe that there can be a hung assembly because of this triangular sort of a contest. But there are equally 22% of the voters who feel that he could just be a vote cutter, and 31% believing that he could perform just like the Prashant Kishore of Jansuraj. So not qualitatively or quantitatively, but in terms of impact, that he could fizzle out before the elections. These could be largely the DMK, AIADMK hardcore voters who feel that he might not be doing well. And on the last question of the voting intention, I think we got 36 for DMK-led alliance, 34 for AIADMK-led alliance, and around 19 for TVK. So here also is 2%, but again within the margin of error. So there's a lot of fluidity because the alliances are being formed up. DMDK joined the DMK alliance just yesterday. As you mentioned, Congress is flirting with the idea of going with the TVK or remaining within the Congress. Also on the trend, actually, one question we asked whether the trend of alternate governments, which was broken in 2016 by Jayalalitha, whether that strong trend is likely to remain or not. And in that, interestingly, 44% people have said that the trend is likely to repeat, which means that we could see alternate governments.
Oh,
we don't know. So these are the findings currently. Yeah.
So not as secure for the DMK according to your findings. Sumant, what is your take on that? The mood on the ground and this whole Congress flirtation. Are they just flirting, or are they seriously going to go with the TVK?
Priya, I think first of all, with Mr. Amitabh's findings, I'm sort of largely in agreement. I mean, we can quibble about the numbers a little bit, but the DMK has its nose ahead, but not by a great deal. The complete unknown quantity is the TVK, because will closer to the election, will they still be seen as a serious contender, or will the entire anti-DMK vote partially shift to to the AIDMK and DA combined? Now that is really the question, because general wisdom now in Tamil Nadu is the fewer the votes Vijay gets, the better it would be for the NDA. Now, he is taking a sizable chunk of the DMK vote. No, make no mistake about it. But the general consensus is if Vijay draws 20% plus, then that gap between DMK and ADMK would still be there and the DMK front would be ahead purely by arithmetic. So anti-incumbency is certainly there. I mean, there is no doubt. Not so much against Mr. Stalin, but huge anti-incumbency against the sitting MLAs, the ministers, and so on. So it's just that Mr. Stalin has managed to position himself as a kind of father figure. In fact, he wants to be called Appa by the people of the state. So basically, he has sort of distanced himself. So all the anger against his party, against his government, is not really reflecting against Mr. Stalin per se. Having said that, I think the Congress is quite serious on having a share of power. I think that is the fundamental issue, not whether they should be given 25 seats or 28 seats or 32 seats. The point is Mr. Manikam Tagore and Praveen Chakravarti, who floated this idea and took it forward, they were speaking, from whatever I heard, on the authority of Rahul Gandhi, on the mandate given by Rahul Gandhi. Now, within the Congress, in every state, but in Tamil Nadu, the Congress has about 20 factions. Okay, so each one is pulling in its own direction. The state president is more a loyalist of the DMK than the Congress. He's been in 4 parties before, and the state Congress president is actually more loyal to DMK than he is to the Congress. So what basically happens is there are multiple voices. What I heard, and this is, that the Congress has given the DMK a request. They have not heard from the DMK officially for 70 days or 75 days now. The DMK has said they're forming a committee for alliance talks on 22nd, that is day after tomorrow. And thereafter talks will be held. But the Congress, from what I understand, wants the following. They want a share they want a place in the government with cabinet berths, at least 2 of them. They want, at local body level, they want a share of the seats to be decided, and they also want these chairmen of boards, the corporations, state corporations and boards and so on. They also want a share of that. They are not prima facie concerned about whether they get 2 seats more or 3 seats more. The TVK has given a carte blanche. TVK have 1.5 years, they've been waiting for somebody to come and align with them. Nobody has come. So they have actually given them a blank check. One of the TVK leaders I spoke to said, the Congress can even take 80 to 100 seats if that's what they want, if they feel that they can contest effectively, because the TVK doesn't have so many serious candidates. So it's still open. Is the Congress DMK alliance a done deal? Not yet. It could be a done deal, but for the Congress to back off now and just accept 3-4 seats more, I think that will finish the party in Tamil Nadu.
That's very interesting. Mr. Sailum, what is your reaction to this and the Congress posturing with the DMK? Can the DMK win without the Congress? He's spoken about the alliance winning, and that too is a very narrow win. So if you take the Congress out of the alliance, what happens to the DMK?
See, 2 pointers emerge from Amitabh's survey. One is he says that Stalin is way above, suppose then say TVK or Vijay or Mr. Edapadi. Therefore, that is one interesting pointer which we have to take, because that goes well with the overall Tamil Nadu last 60 years track history. Because in Tamil Nadu, there has never been an hung assembly. People have voted decisively, either this side or that side. I have never, even in 2016, when there were 3-cornered fight, the third corner, which was the Makkal Nala Kutani, actually cut into one side so that the other side gets a decisive mandate. Therefore, what I have seen is, especially after 77, whenever a force is coming up, the third force is not able to generate that threshold of momentum to be a major influencer. The last time a third party came with 25 seats on its own in the state assembly was in 89 with Mupanar.
I see. Okay.
After 1989, a third party never exceeded 25% on its own. And we should not conflate this with Tamil Mandala Congress winning 61 seats in 1996 or Mr. Vijaykanth becoming the leader of the opposition in 2011. This doesn't mean that the Tamil Mandala Congress has become the second largest party. It was ADMK, which was still the second largest party. And again in 2011, we can't think that Vijaykanth's party was the second largest party because DMK remained the second largest party. So in that sense, these two polls, DMK and ADMK, are much larger poll. And what we do is...
So is TVK, can it be a spoiler?
Yeah, it can be a spoiler. But the issue is when it comes to the election, it's not just the opinion. It's also the ground level infrastructure.
Okay.
One of the reasons why Mr. Vijay is willing to give that huge leeway to lure Congress is because he needs somebody to fill it with credible candidates.
Okay. That makes sense.
Just one correction.
Suman, quickly.
Yes. Just one correction. 2011, actually, the DMDK of Vijaykanth was the second largest party in the House. They won 29 seats. DMK won 23. Mr. Vijaykanth became leader of the opposition in the House. So that is just one point. Sorry.
No, that's what I'm saying. That we don't consider that as the second largest party. Electoral outcomes doesn't make a party the second largest.
Absolutely, because they were in alliance with the AIDM.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Because we shouldn't conflate the Tamil Mandala Congress position in 1996 to make it the second largest party. We shouldn't conflate the electoral result of 2011 to consider Mr. Vijaykanth the second largest party.
Fair enough. Okay.
Second, first and second position was oscillating only between the two Dravidian majors. And ever since the first election for the state, after the linguistic reorganization of the states, was in 1957. From 1957, this state had never gone for hung assembly. Never.
Okay.
There has been a very, very clear, I think at some level, people are very clear whom they want to be in power. And that has been so disturbed. And I'm not able to understand this idea of an hung assembly which keeps coming up whenever it comes to Tamil Nadu.
Okay. But where will the Congress go? Where do you think the Congress, is it posturing, or do you think they actually they're very serious about the share in the power and they will experiment with TVK?
See, what we are witnessing with Congress is layered one. One is Congress has been out of power from 67. It wants to crawl back and have some say. But what it's failing to understand is whenever it increases its stake, that ends up very badly. First is 1980. 1980 was the first time there was a power sharing agreement between DMK and Congress. And both of them contested evenly. And they lost out narrowly to M.G. Ramachandran to come back to power.
Okay.
The 1980 example, DMK is not willing to forget or forgive.
That's interesting.
Yeah. There were,
okay.
There, what happened is the moment you get into sharing of power, it's no longer complementary, but mutual undermining. The vote share will never happen because each one will think that putting other person in his place will be a power sharing. This is undercurrent, or I don't think any political party will agree that they will work against their electoral alliance partner. But that is the reality. At the ground level, if you're going to take a share, I will cut you to size.
Okay.
Therefore, that mutual undermining, which happened in 1980, In fact, that was the first election which I observed as a rookie reporter. Therefore, I remember exactly what happened.
Okay. I'm going to take a break and come back and keep the conversation going. So stay with us.
आपके घर के खाने में रेस्टोरेंट जैसा स्वाद ले आए MDH का शाही पनीर मसाला। पनीर को क्या मस्त बना डाला।
कार इंश्योरेंस डन।
पॉलिसी बाजार से कराया?
नहीं।
तो तू जिब्रा नहीं हो सकता।
मतलब?
अगर पॉलिसी बाजार से कार इंश्योरेंस कंपेयर करके लेता तो 12,000 रुपए तक बचा सकता था। इसलिए तू जिब्रा तो नहीं है, तू है गधा। काइंड ऑफ।
MDH का किचन किंग किचन में हो तो हम सब कुछ बना सकते हैं। बैंगन का भरता, आलू गोभी, भिंडी मसाला और भी बहुत कुछ।
MDH। कार इंश्योरेंस डन।
पॉलिसी बाजार से कराया?
नहीं।
तो तू जिब्रा नहीं हो सकता। कार नई हो या पुरानी, पॉलिसी बाजार पे कंपेयर करके खरीदो और 30,000 तक बचाओ। इसलिए तू जिब्रा तो नहीं है, तू है गधा। काइंड ऑफ।
Hello and welcome back to the roundtable. We're taking a look at the elections in Tamil Nadu with a special focus on the alliances because this week, this next 10 days is very crucial indeed. But Amitabh, if we take, is there any calculation that if we take the Congress out of the DMK alliance, will the DMK be able to retain its edge? And what will happen if the Congress and the TVK tie up?
See, arithmetically, if you see on a standalone basis per se, AIADMK has higher vote share than DMK in 7 of the 11 elections which they have fought after.
Okay.
But in terms of alliances, if we see in the last few years, at least in the last decade, DMK has tried, tested better alliance. So that's why we've seen that they have won 3 elections, 2 Lok Sabha and 1 Vidhan Sabha at a stretch. So Tamil Nadu is a game of alliances. Interestingly, all the other parties, including BJP and Congress, have been in both the groups.
It's true.
BJP earlier with DMK, AIADMK, Congress similarly with DMK, AIADMK, then back to DMK. PMK has been switching sides. DMDK was with AIADMK, now with DMK. Tamil Congress perhaps is the only one which has either stayed alone or largely with AIADMK. Now, if you see the last year's election, or rather 2021, the vote share gap is 5%. Congress got 4%, 4.3%. So since it is a game of alliances, what Congress feels is that bulk of the difference between the two alliances, which is this 4%, which is perhaps 8 to 10,000 votes per constituency or 5 to 8,000 votes per constituency, Congress brings on the table. And that's why it should have a share of power because it's a game of alliances. In 2021 and 2024 Lok Sabha election also, since AIADMK and DMK and the BJP split, we saw a sweep by the DMK. Hypothetically, if they were together, they could have got around 13 Lok Sabha seats, assuming that the votes would have transferred. So it would have been 26 and 13 largely. So if Congress joins TVK, it of course adds 4-5% vote share. If it contests on more seats, it can add even 8 to 10% vote share. Because pre-split of DMK, Congress used to have 35% vote share in Tamil Nadu and DMK used to have 45. This 35 has fallen to 4. And the Dravidian parties, which were at 45%, have gone up to 70-75% on a combined basis. So I'm not saying that Congress goes back to 35, but by contesting on more seats, it can get 7 to 8% range. So it is a call which it has to take, but largely bargaining at this point of time that if the DMK had power sharing in a UPA government for 10 years, and if I use a North Indian colloquial, some of them had Malai portfolios, then not Congress. When the contest is becoming closer, there is a third force, which is a threat to, let's say, Udayanidhi Stalin's leadership, which is the future leadership of the DMK, and the BJP and the EPS have come together. Then why extract this leverage. We will be asking this question when in further surveys as to what could happen if TVK and the Congress join together.
Yeah.
But that's because it's a tight race that 4-5% also sometimes
Makes a difference. Yeah. Okay, Suman, I know you have to go, but I have two specific questions for you. One is, of course, if the TVK, for instance, if MK Stalin, can the BJP and the DMK also join hands at some point? Because DMK has done business, as Amitabh said, with both the parties, Congress and this thing. There is also talk of MK Stalin sending his son-in-law to the Rajya Sabha, who was very good networking with the BJP. Do you see that happening? And secondly, is the Congress being unrealistic in its demand for power sharing, or is it something whose time has come because they do have a sizable vote share?
First question on whether the DMK and BJP can tie up in public, no. Privately, they are already in an alliance. The 2G case, for instance, Priya hasn't moved an inch. This was a BJP government that actually where the CBI actually asked for day-to-day hearings before the 21 election. They moved the Delhi High Court and asked for day-to-day hearings in the 2G case after the elections. The case has slept for 5 years. Not just this case. I can give you another half a dozen cases which are under investigation either through ED or CBI against DMK ministers and others, which have all been sleeping and snoring soundly. So in Tamil Nadu, the general perception is that is why many of the parties who are neither in the DMK or ADMK say that ADMK is in an open alliance with the BJP and DMK is in a backdoor alliance with the BJP.
That's interesting.
And there are people like Mr. Annamalai who are seen more as though publicly he talks about defeating the DMK, they are seen as playing to the DMK's tune, which is why he wrecked the ADMK BJP alliance, which, as Amitabh said, had they been together, they would have won easily about 12 to 13 seats in the last Lok Sabha election, and they drew a blank. So, so the DMK and BJP, there is a wonderful understanding between them at the back. Publicly, they will abuse each other and make noise, but I think people are sort of aware that they will not do anything that actually radically damages each other. Now, the second part is Congress. The Congress has, at last count, 4.9% vote share, which when they contested alone. So assume that some of it may have fallen off. The importance of the Congress, Priya, is not just that 4.95%. The importance of the Congress is the perception it gives to the DMK alliance. That the DMK alliance is a rock, nothing can shake it. In fact, that's been the narrative for the past 1 year. On the other side, you have an NDA which is in fragments. Only ADMK and BJP were part of this alliance, and TMC of Mr. Vasan were part of the alliance till about a month ago. Only last 1 month they have brought in Anbumani's PMK and they brought in TTV Dinakaran and so on. But on the other side, you have a rock solid alliance which has held together for more than 10-15 years. Now, that has been the narrative. So when the Congress breaks, should it happen, it creates a huge perception issue that the DMK may not actually win this election, and all this bit about, as Amitabh said, 3%, 4% cushion. Now that may be. Second, if the Congress by chance joins the TVK then starts to be seen as a viable option. Today, the TVK is seen as a bit of a oddball, where only these 25, 30-year-olds and all these crazed fans are going to vote. But tomorrow, if a national party like the Congress is willing to tie up with Vijay, it gives him the political legitimacy that he today does not have. So it could upset everybody's apple cart. So I think that the decision that the Congress could take is extremely important. And one more thing, Priya. If the Congress contests with the DMK now, after all the bad blood that there has been, mark my words, they will not get even double-digit MLAs. The DMK itself will sink them. So that is something which they are so angry with what the Congress has done that there's no way that they're going to help the Congress candidates to win. There will be a lot of sabotage internally by the DMK, and without the DMK, the Congress candidates will not win. There is no doubt, no way that they can win any seat, maybe 1 or 2, but nothing beyond that they can win without the DMK. So I think that the decision of the Congress could be crucial to the way this election actually shapes up. And if the Congress chooses to break ranks from the DMK, the DMK has never won an election on its own in its history. Never. Jayalalitha has won 2 elections, with minor small parties with her and no major player. The DMK has never won an election without a large alliance. And if the Congress leaves the alliance, they will be in serious trouble.
Wow. One more quick question for you, Suman. I've heard, is there a sort of a conversation that Congress ties up with the TVK and post the elections, Vijay merges with the Congress and becomes the face of the Congress in Tamil Nadu?
See, that, I've been hearing that as well, but I think it's a little too premature.